Episode of Free Talk Live. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
He's made his choice. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Joe Biden making good on his promise to select a woman of color as his running mate.
California Senator Kamala Harris will be the first black woman on a major party's presidential ticket. The Biden campaign sent a text and an email to supporters this afternoon announcing the former vice president's running mate. In the announcement, Biden says he needs someone working beside him who is tough, smart, and ready to lead. Biden was a frequent target of Harris. During Democratic primary debates, Harris questioned Biden about his previous stance on public school busing, but she quickly became a top contender for the VP nomination after she ended her presidential campaign. Biden had promised to select a woman as his running mate. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Senator Harris tweeting a short time ago, Joe Biden can unify the American people because he spent his life fighting for us. And she writes, as president, he'll build an America that lives up to our ideals. The Trump campaign issuing a statement on the selection of Harris, reading in part, Joe Biden is no moderate. And with Harris as his political living will, he is surrendering control of our nation to the radical mob with promises to raise taxes, cut police funding, kill energy jobs, open our borders, and appease socialist dictators. Talks on a new round of coronavirus aid remain stalled.
The Democrats are playing hardball. Their opponents aren't us Republicans. Not really. They're playing hardball against kids, workers, and vulnerable Americans who need help.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who says no new talks have been scheduled.
Our negotiations with the White House, Chief of Staff Meadows and Secretary Mnuchin were unable to go above $1 trillion. And their trillion was far short of the country's needs.
Senate Democratic Leader Chuck Schumer. America is listening to Fox News.
2020 hasn't let up, but we have to keep this economy rolling. NetSuite will help your business make that happen. That's why over 21,000 companies, including Boll & Branch, makers of the world's softest sheets, choose NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Everything you need all in one place. We talked to David Reed, CFO of Boll & Branch, about how they use NetSuite.
Before NetSuite, we were stitched together with spreadsheets and hope. Now I have only one source of truth for our financials, HR, inventory, and supply chain. Because NetSuite is cloud-based, working from home didn't change a thing. We're still bringing affordable luxury into homes all across America. I'm now closing the books 5 to 10 times faster thanks to NetSuite.
NetSuite surveyed hundreds of business leaders and assembled a playbook of the top strategies they're using as America reopens for business. Receive your free guide, 7 actions businesses need to take now, and schedule your free product tour at netsuite.com/Fox.
The cleanup still underway in parts of the Midwest after a rare straight-line windstorm called a derecho.
The rare storm packed up to 112-mile-per-hour wind gusts, battering parts of Nebraska, Iowa, Illinois, and here in Kenosha County, Wisconsin, where residents in the towns of Camp Lake and Trevor are thankful to be alive.
Swept across, we were watching it. You really didn't see any rotation. It just came through and just cleared out the entire neighborhood out right up straight across.
I've never seen the neighborhood in this much damage before ever.
A woman in Indiana was killed after high winds rolled her mobile home. As efforts to restore power and clean up tossed cars, structure damage, and downed trees continues across the region. In Kenosha County, Wisconsin, Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Authorities in Baltimore say a second body has been recovered from a trio of row houses that were destroyed by a natural gas explosion yesterday. The pandemic is taking its toll on major companies.
Bankruptcies in the U.S. appear to be reaching a 10-year high. S&P Global Market Intelligence says there are 424 filings so far this year. The group looked at both public companies and private businesses that sell bonds or notes. More than 100 consumer companies are on the list, including Men's Warehouse parent company Tailored Brands, department store chain Lord & Taylor, Brooks Brothers, and J.C. Penney. Also bankrupt, Chesapeake Energy and engine company Briggs & Stratton. Ginny Cosola, Fox News.
Dunkin' getting into the cereal market. The coffee and donuts chain releasing 2 breakfast cereals based on 2 of its most popular coffee drinks. They've teamed up with Post, which makes several popular cereals, to make caramel macchiato and mocha latte cereal. It'll be released later this month. Dunkin' says the cereal has the about as much caffeine as a tenth of an 8-ounce cup of coffee. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Regarded by many as one of the fastest rising online personalities today, social media rock star Ryan Wasserman has 250,000 loyal Twitter followers and earns $28,000 a year at his job as an administrative assistant. The Onion spoke to the online luminary at KPL Insurance, where he works from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and makes roughly $13 an hour.
I'm just trying to bring my unique perspective to everybody. That's what my followers expect, and I like to think I deliver.
Wasserman, who currently has $900 in his checking account, regularly engages in conversations with high-profile celebrities and takes the bus to work from the 2-bedroom apartment he shares with a 23-year-old he met on Craigslist.
Actually, I just started a Tumblr because sometimes 140 characters just doesn't cut it. I just had a Google Glass tweet that Questlove retweeted again. KPL, this is Ryan. Yeah, I'm sorry, I totally forgot.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and you can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Ian.
And Conan.
And according to nbconnecticut.com, the first fines have been issued for COVID-19 travel violations. In addition, documentation from a doctor is now required if one wants to claim a mask exemption.
In Connecticut.
In Connecticut. So presumably religious exemptions there just do not exist.
I don't know if anyone's had success with that or what's going on with religious exemptions.
Well, it's going to be hard to argue a religious exemption for sure, because not very many religions actually take a position on the mask issue.
Mine does.
As does mine. Mm-hmm. But ours are not exactly well
established,
documented.
No,
I don't have.
We don't have a whole lot of members to be out there making the claims.
It doesn't matter. It's my religion.
I agree. There's just nobody out there
with God
making the claim.
Yeah.
Is the issue.
Well, I'll make that claim.
So 2 people returning to Connecticut from states under the travel advisory, in effect, were issued the first 2 fines in the state for travel violations. Now, you say you will make that claim. Have you made that claim?
I have
dealing
not
with
been,
businesses?
I've not had the opportunity to do it yet. Have not gone to the grocery store in the last 2 or 3 weeks since the mandate or whatever. There's now a business mandate here in Keene, New Hampshire, which is where we live, that affects supposedly the entire city and all the businesses within it. So I haven't gone shopping since that time. But I have told the local mailbox store here where they sell private mailboxes to folks, mailbox services, that I do have a religious objection to it. However, it's their private property, so if they don't want me in there, that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to force my way in, so I am not going to do anything further with that one because I just sort of informed them.
You told them in their building or over the phone?
I told them in their building when they informed me for the first time that was going to be happening.
I don't remember... when it comes to the ordinance, the Keene ordinance, was a religious exemption even included in the wording?
They didn't broach the subject at all.
I thought it was just health issues.
Correct.
And age, I think under 2 or something like that.
But even if they don't specify a religious exemption, one can still claim one.
There should be one.
And I doubt that the city of Keene, if push came to shove, would actually want to say, no, you can't claim a religious exemption.
Yeah.
The problem is the fine in the city of Keene doesn't go after the individual. It goes after the business owner.
That is, I'm going to tell you, this is one of the sneakiest things they have done because they know there was going to be enough people out there who would fight this, who would say, all right, go ahead, give me your stupid fine. I'll take it to court. They knew that there would be people out here, not just us.
No.
But a lot of people out there. And so what do? I know what we'll do. We'll attack the business owner. And so now what am I going to do? I'm going to walk into one of my favorite establishments. I'm going to walk into Aldi's or something, or the restaurant that I love going to. I don't want to get them in trouble.
Right.
This was sneaky, man. This is nasty, slimy, sneaky stuff.
It also sounds illegal to me. I mean, I'm not an attorney or anything like that, but to order a business owner to become your unpaid enforcer of your town ordinance, I just don't think that I don't think that should fly legally.
I would agree. And I doubt that it would fly legally. But
most business owners aren't willing to challenge it. They don't want to fly. They don't want to do anything besides fly under the radar. They certainly don't want their face to be plastered all over the local newspaper as, the poster boy for somebody who's challenging.
Right. Well, I know one business owner here in Keene who might appreciate that type of notoriety.
Really?
She might actually be looking for it.
It could definitely help their business from a certain point of view.
Correct, especially if you have people who don't want to go into one of these masked up hellholes.
But the question
is, who would rather shop at some place where you don't have to?
Okay, and I don't disagree with you in theory. The question is, how many of these people who are like us who don't want to wear a mask, how many of them are there? What percentage of the marketplace, especially in little old Keene, New Hampshire, a lefty college town, the southwest corner of New Hampshire, right next to Vermont and Massachusetts, one of the most statist places in all of New Hampshire, what percentage of the population is out there who actually would appreciate a place where they were free to choose whether or not to put on their masks?
At this point in the game, it's really hard to tell because everyone is wearing a damn mask, so you can't tell who's who anymore.
So now you're asking a business owner to step out into, step off of a ledge, basically, and not really know what's underneath them and, take a leap of faith and say, well, I'm just going to put it all on the line here because if it turns out that it's actually 90 or 80%, as the polls would have you believe. Now, of course, they manipulate these things, right? So it's hard to know what the truth is.
It probably is pretty close, though.
Maybe, I don't know. I want to know what the truth is, but I don't know what it is. And so you're asking them to take that leap of faith and say, all right, well, I'm going to put my beliefs out here, and I'm going to let all my customers know that I don't care about their health, right? Because that's how it's going to be portrayed by the other side, is that
you're selfish, you don't care about old grandma.
Right, this business owner just wants to kill people.
I don't care about old grandma. I don't care about the customer's health.
You're not the business owner.
No, I'm not.
Now,
I own a business, but it doesn't have the clientele necessary in order to land on the radar.
This was tried first in Nashua, New Hampshire, and something I can't remember what actually went down. When our city councilors, when our nannies, they were actually trying to emulate Nashua.
That's right. Yeah, I heard Nashua had a fine for the individual, though.
Yeah, but it went to court, and the judge threw it out, or the judge decided that it was not, in fact.
No, what happened where in that case, and I know this because I spoke with the attorney this weekend, who took that case in Nashua, and it was just a preliminary injunction that was denied. So the case itself hasn't even been heard.
Okay.
So all right,
So there is still some chance that a court in New Hampshire could say, hey, you towns, you don't have the authority to do this?
Well, actually, which is absolutely correct. This is unconstitutional. Towns, municipalities, local municipalities do not have the ability to make a law like this. So, I mean...
Yes, that would be one of the arguments that he's going to make in court.
And if it had been the fines had been directed at the individual, this would have gotten figured out real quick, but as we've been saying, because they're going after business owners, they're not gonna fight it.
So do the towns and cities throughout New Hampshire have the authority to mandate that people have to wear pants?
Well, I mean,
because this is at the end of the day, this is just an article of clothing that people are being asked to wear.
But that's a state law. So no, the city of Keene cannot. So you can go topless in Keene. The city of Keene cannot create an ordinance saying that you have to cover yourself.
I think they can, actually. According to the court case in Laconia, I believe they are authorized to make that ordinance. They haven't within the city of Keene.
Is that because the state... All right, well...
So in New Hampshire, there's not what they call a home rule state, where the local towns and municipalities
rule.
Are... Whose rule?
Dillon's rule, I believe.
I'm not familiar with it.
These are all states that don't have home rule.
Right. So what home rule would mean would be that the city of Keene could just pass any ordinance that it wanted to.
Okay.
Wants to ban guns, it can do that. Whatever. There's no limit essentially. And in New Hampshire, there is no home rule, which means that cities and towns legally can only pass law or ordinances which they are statutorily authorized to pass. Okay. So there's certain statutes that say cities, towns, if you want, you can pass zoning. And so some towns, most of them, have passed zoning, but some towns haven't.
Okay, so presumably clothing would not be among the things that the towns and cities would be authorized to do.
There is a state law against, I believe, lewd behavior, which I think includes, and I could be wrong on what the statute is called, but there is a prohibition on being nude, which is the definition of which is displaying one's genitals. So being topless is not a violation of being nude because you're not displaying your genitals in that case.
Sure. There's
also a strong argument that females, even if they were bottomless, would still also not be nude because their genitals are internal. So there's an interesting theory.
I'm not arguing that one.
There's an interesting theory on that one.
So toplessness, I was under the impression, was not legal here in New Hampshire.
You're incorrect about that. It is completely legal to be topless here. In fact, years ago, a girl walked down Main Street here in Keene with an open-carried sidearm and was topless, was arrested. The police not only released her, but released her with an apology, which if you go and you look at all the wrongful police arrests in the United States, they never apologize. They apologized here.
Wow, fascinating. Yeah. More about this and more about these mandates and these people in Connecticut who have been issued $1,000 fines for not filling out the necessary government paperwork. This is Free Talk Live.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for people to use it for everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that is as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
News from news.bitcoin.com. Goldman Sachs warns that the U.S. dollar is on the path to lose world reserve currency status. Experts say that Bitcoin will continue to rise to as much as $20,000 this year. Coinbase reports more institutional investors are buying cryptocurrency. Cashgames.bitcoin.com announces a $3,000 leaderboard tournament. Bitcoin.com is your source for getting started with cryptocurrencies, getting a wallet, buying Bitcoin Cash, mining, and all the latest cryptocurrency news at news.bitcoin.com.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at AnyPayInc.com. AnyPayInc.com.
Free Talk Live.
So, yeah, Mark, they did ban all foreign flags from being flown in the event that they are the only flag being flown. But nonetheless, I mean,
it's the flying of a flag?
$50 fine and 30 hours of community service.
That's dumb. This doesn't really even affect
What do you think, this is the land of the free?
Most of the Mexican flags I see are CDs hanging from people's rearview mirrors, stickers.
I think we could qualify that.
That's not a flag.
It doesn't look like a flag. Got them colors on it.
No.
We're going to charge you $50 fine. $50. That's right.
That CD, what if the CD has music on it?
Don't matter. It's a flag.
It's not a flag. It's a CD.
If you're flying it
Clearly,
like a flag,
sir,
it's a flag, my friend.
It's not a flag. It's hanging from fishing wire from my rearview mirror.
Hanging equals flag.
No, hanging does not equal flag.
Equals $50 fine. Pay up.
Well, I have a...
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Should you be able to earn an honest living free from senseless government interference? The Institute for Justice thinks so. That's why we've spent years defending hard-working men and women from pointless government regulations. Nationwide, IJ has created opportunity by reducing government power, but there is still more work to be done. Visit our website today at ij.org. Let IJ take care of the government so you can take care of your business.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and you can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. With you tonight in the studio is Aria, Conan, and Ian. And for years, libertarians of all stripes have wanted a directory of liberty-minded businesses, and we're helping to build one, liberty.menu. It's a tool for our community. At its core is a directory for events, businesses, digital content, and more. Listings can be rated and reviewed, and there's a bit of a social network to it so that you can connect and share with others. However, use of Liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. So put your voluntarist ideas into action at Liberty.menu and use code FTL to get a special badge. Again, that's Liberty.menu. Well, let's go to the phones. We've got Mike calling from North Carolina. Mike, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's on your mind?
Well, I'm needing some help, needing to bring some attention to a situation here in Rockingham County, North Carolina.
All right, what's going on there?
I'm blind, and on the 21st of February, we just moved to town, this little town called Madison. And one of the first nights in town, my wife and I went out to just enjoy some couples time. I was in the passenger seat, obviously, and she parked at a parking lot at a church. We were there maybe 3 minutes, and she saw a car pull up behind us. She thought it was another Pokemon Go player, and she was on her way out. Nothing out of the blue until the lights came on, and she stopped. She said, "Oh, no, it's a cop." And the cop came up, and within in a few minutes, just started threatening to smash out her window, to roll her window all the way down, demanding IDs from everyone in the car.
Wow. That's not legal.
Ultimately, he issued about 25 threats to, roll the window down or he'd smash it, and he'd do physical violence to us. And he even promised her that if she did roll the window all the way down, he wouldn't pull her from the car. And as soon as the window went down, you guys probably know what happened.
I do not know what happened.
He reached in and unlocked the doors and unbuckled her, stole her keys, pulled her from the car, put her in cuffs. Somebody on my side, the passenger side, did the same thing.
What was the charge?
So at that time, that's what we were asking him. We asked him to identify. We asked him what he was investigating, if there's any crime he suspected us of, and he said his first answer was, "I need to run you for warrants. I need to know if you're a murderer." And
Wait a minute. He said this after you guys already had handcuffs on, or before?
That was before. So that's like 5-10 minutes into the encounter, yeah. And then after that, he said, "I'm investigating trespassing." And I said, "Well, we were leaving. You stopped us from leaving." And she verified there were no signs about no trespassing. It was a church parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And we've actually talked to the church staff, and they're very welcoming and open to people coming and playing at the park or playing in the field. Yeah, right. So they clearly didn't have the elements of trespassing. He didn't actually have a crime he was investigating.
Right, he didn't have a person with property, a property manager or owner, saying they wanted you gone. That wasn't happening.
Did you get video of all of this?
Oh, yeah. We run a YouTube channel. We do some activism around the country. The YouTube channel is called Blind Justice.
All right,
and
cool.
and I focus a lot on disability rights and access, equal access for people with disabilities. So we believe it was retaliatory from getting into exposing some issues down in a neighboring county, in Guilford County, and that encounter just 2 weeks before, I got jumped by the police and got a brain bleed, put in the hospital.
The police attacked a blind man?
Yeah. So that video is up on the channel. So the one I'm talking about in Madison is the one I need help on in the near term. So this is the new update, just Friday.
Well, hold on. Before you go on, did they charge you with trespass when you were arrested? What was the actual charge?
Right. So that's what he threatened threatened me with. They didn't threaten her with it because she gave her ID, right? Eventually, she produced her ID, her driver's license. I told them I didn't have one.
Well, it's her. And now, look, I'm not an attorney, so this isn't legal advice, but as the driver, she should provide ID, but you as a passenger are generally under no obligation to show ID. So, he can ask, but you aren't obligated to show it. My understanding.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I was sticking with. I was sticking with, the Fourth Amendment to be secure and papers.
So he was threatening you, trying to get you to identify yourself to him, threatening you with all kinds of charges like trespass that ultimately never materialized. What about when they put you in the handcuffs? Did they charge you then?
Not immediately. He had backup from a different town. There was a total of 4 of them that surrounded us. They did they took her to another car, and the main guy, I guess his name was Benfield, who was doing all the threats, told the backup to put her in his car, which was a K9 car. So they realized that after they opened the door, and thankfully they had enough sense not to throw my wife into a place that's made for a dog, because she was pleading with them, like, don't put me in there. And so they didn't. But then he tried to pitch to his buddies that, we got him on suspicious activity, trespassing, all this stuff. So I dispelled that with them. And I said, you actually don't have any criminal elements of anything here. You're just trying to get my ID, and I'm not going to give it to you. And at that point, he said, okay, well, you're under arrest. And they arrested me. They let my wife go, thankfully.
Were you arrested for resisting arrest? Because I've seen that before.
No. So the initial charges, like, he didn't know what the charges were. They took me to the local police department to try to figure that out.
That's always good.
Let's arrest him and then go figure out what we can charge him with.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so that was going to be 20, 30 minutes there, and they kind of admitted on their body cam that they knew me from my activism from YouTube, and so this is kind of retaliatory. So then they took me to the magistrate's office. He tried to plead his case to the magistrate. The magistrate agreed with me like 2 times, like, yeah, you have the 4th and 5th Amendment. And then
hold on, what were you charged with? Did you say it and I missed it?
No, at this point, he wasn't sure. He was trying to say...
You're in front of a magistrate and they don't know what you've been charged with?
No. So him and the magistrate were trying to work it out, and I'm dispelling his theories. And so after 2 strikes me and 2 swing and a misses, the magistrate orders him to take me to a holding cell down the hall where they can lock me in there so they can talk without me present, have this ex parte communication to discuss what charges they can get to stick. Some 20, 30 minutes go by, and they pull me out and say something like interference or with an investigation. That ultimately changed.
I'm sure it did.
When they released me about 20 hours later to, in North Carolina, it's like Aria, resisting an officer is what.
So you were charged with resisting.
Yeah, so that's ultimately what the charges still are pending, resisting an officer.
That's it.
And the court case is set for the 19th of August after being continued. And so
did they set you loose on PR bail, or did you have to pay a bond?
No, the ransom was $2,500. Yeah.
Jeez,
that's steep.
And this is after,
that's steep considering they don't have a charge at the very least.
Yeah.
So you were in a parking lot of a church. They pulled in behind you, arrested you because you wouldn't show them ID, and then ultimately charged you with resisting arrest because they didn't have anything else they were actually arresting you for. How many times does this happen? I can't count the number of instances of people being arrested for resisting arrest. I just don't. It's like, hello, that doesn't
follow. It's a wonder it ever sticks.
Yeah.
Mike, thank you so much for the
call.
Let
us know what happens, please.
Incredible story. Yeah, keep us updated. Let us know.
Blind Justice, I think it was called.
Yes, Blind Justice.
Blind Justice is a lot of videos.
Cool.
I hope they figure out what it is they want to charge you with so that you can actually plead not guilty to something. Because evidently they're just going to keep making it up and changing it as they go. It's absolutely ridiculous. 855-450-3733.
Divvy's been a pretty good investment for Free Talk Live. Their ad campaign started in September 2019, and from mid-March to mid-July, the values soared by 10 times. It's not too late. Divvy's new wallet hasn't even released yet, and other things are happening that I can't even say on the radio. If you want to invest and potentially do well, go to divvyproject.org. I can tell you that FTL is deepening its partnership with the guys from divvyproject.org. Past performance is not an indication of future profit. divvyproject.org. DIVI project.org. News News from news.bitcoin.com. Goldman Sachs warns that the U.S. dollar is on the path to lose world reserve currency status. Experts say that Bitcoin will continue to rise to as much as $20,000 this year. Coinbase reports more institutional investors are buying cryptocurrency. Cashgames.bitcoin.com announces a $3,000 leaderboard tournament. Bitcoin.com is your source for getting started with cryptocurrencies, getting a wallet, buying Bitcoin Cash, mining, and all the latest cryptocurrency news at news.bitcoin.com.
The political world is a maddening cesspool of corruption and lies. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody keeps campaign promises. Nobody obeys the Constitution. Nobody puts the people first. How can we ever escape this web of tyranny? Vote for nobody.
Hi, my name is Nobody. I'm running for governor of New Hampshire because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I want to put you back in control of your money, your lifestyle, your work, your body, and your life. Nobody should rule you but you. New Hampshire convicts many people of so-called crimes that should never have been prosecuted. If elected, I will pardon every victimless crime in New Hampshire history. This includes drug, gambling, prostitution, gun, and driving offenses. Nobody should have a criminal record when they have not harmed anybody.
Wouldn't it be nice to have nobody telling you what to do? Learn more at electnobody.com. electnobody.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria, Ian, and Conan. And let's keep going with the phones. We've got Dave calling from New Hampshire. Dave, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, folks.
Hey, what's on your mind?
Well, you know, about 8 years ago, I remember doing a podcast where I was talking about how Keene might get its first Mikhail Gorbachev. Chris Roberts could be the Mikhail Gorbachev of Keene.
That's
and of course,
a
Keene
politician.
Is
yeah, I don't know what it means,
yes. So the Keene is the obviously where you guys broadcast from, and there's been many problems with Keene mayors and Keene government that all of us on this call have had, I think. And
right now they just passed a mask mandate across the city of Keene in all businesses. So there continue to be problems.
Mayor Pregent, I think, basically had you arrested. And, he used to, when I would ask him questions with a camera, he would just pretend I wasn't there.
Yep, some of them do that to me, too.
But gradually, there seems to be a continual improvement in the quality of Keene mayors. It seems like the last one was not so bad. And then this new one he runs a talk show, and you can call in and ambush interview him anytime you want.
Yeah, I did hear that he's running his own show on the local talk radio station. So, I mean, there's something to be said for being available like that to people. It's a weekly thing? Is that right?
Yeah, and it's very accessible and accommodating. He's got a very nice demeanor. He doesn't try to, there's something about him that's very different. I don't know what his voting record is, but he seems kind of like a caretaker mayor or whatnot.
Well, as a mayor in Keene, they don't get to vote. So the mayor in Keene, with the exception of a tiebreaker, they are not allowed to vote. So it's a fairly weak position.
Yeah. But after all these years of liberty activist conflict with the Keene government, it's nice to see some slight but continual improvements. I wouldn't even call it slight in terms of the mayor's demeanor. It's absolutely night and day.
Well, I mean, he certainly didn't put a stop to the mask mandate, so I mean, he's not doing anybody any favors who care about freedom.
Well, I mean, if he can't veto
not
it,
on that.
I mean, there's nothing he can really do to stop it, right?
The mayor runs the meetings. So if somebody were to propose a mask mandate, as my understanding, the mayor could just be like, we're going to take that as informational.
Yep.
Moving along.
Okay.
Yeah, I questioned him about this in a call that I made to him a week or two ago, and confronted him about it a little bit.
But, I mean, they're terrified.
What sense did you get from him when you called him, Dave? What did he sound like he thought about this? Because I couldn't tell watching the meeting.
He sounded actually almost a little bit too open-minded. He was just kind of like, well, I don't really have. It was almost like he didn't have an opinion. Yeah, I'm sure you've got an opinion. Yeah. But I told him. He said, well, we're not going to make the police enforce this. It's more going to be a business type of thing. And I said, you know what? It's like Gerald Celente used to say, state-controlled capitalism is called fascism. Mm-hmm. And he kind of got it.
Well, I did watch the meeting, and one of the individuals who I probably would have voted for if he was in my ward, he came out strongly in favor of this stupid mask ordinance, using the old argument that if you're a part of a community, things like the protection of your fellow human being is paramount.
You have to give up some rights,
and that basically you give up your rights for the safety of the community. And I heard that guy say it, and I was ready to throw the phone across the room, because I mean, this is a guy that I would have voted for, and he did, and this is what happens. They get a little bit of power, including our mayor, by the way, get a little bit of power, and it goes to their head, and before you know it, they're taking your rights from you.
Aria, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I may have misspoke about what the mayor can do. I think that they can only take as informational items from the public, but if it comes from a counselor, they probably have to have some sort of a hearing. He
could adjourn the meeting, right?
Maybe.
Okay, I hear your proposal. Meeting adjourned.
Well, but the fact that it's unconstitutional, we're not a home rule state. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be. Hey, a lawyer over there in the corner. Will this fly? It won't. Informational.
The lawyer worked on the wording.
I know. He was probably part of the whole sneaky, slimy wording
he's a slime ball.
To fight the.
I mean, he's an attorney who works for the city. So, I mean, yeah, he's definitely a slime ball. But weren't there 2 counselors who voted against it?
There were.
Manwaring and Powers.
What do we know about them?
I don't think they voted against it because of any kind of principle. I think they probably wanted it to be harsher.
Oh.
I don't know. I didn't hear. I wasn't listening. We tuned in here and there during the discussion here on Free Talk Live, but we didn't give it any consistent attention.
Dave, anything else happening in New Hampshire that we haven't discussed?
To be discussed on another call.
Dave, are you coming up to the mask event on Saturday here in Keene?
Probably not.
Oh man, it may be big. They're expecting, I think, at least 100 people.
I saw 300.
Which will like a Facebook event.
I saw 300 were expected.
Okay.
I don't know to what extent that's delusional.
If it's Facebook, then who knows?
300 people clicking interested or even going does not mean 300 people will actually go.
But it is getting spread around quite a bit, and it should be very interesting. If you're in New England and you care about the freedom to be able to choose how to dress yourself, then you should come out to Keene downtown Central Square from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. this Saturday. and join in, because now the governor, His Excellency, has passed another one of his eminences, or whatever you want to call it. He has emanated his ordinance, emanated his order,
his wishes,
and his demands. And he is now saying that if you gather more than 100 people together on a special or scheduled occasion, for a scheduled event, then that will become illegal. So without a mask, if everyone is not wearing a mask, if there's more than 100 people, which means that Keene's protest event that's going to happen this Saturday, if it hits more than 100 and there are not 100 masks on, then that will now be a civil disobedience event.
Good. 45 going, 174 interested.
Yep.
And including me. But I work on Saturday, so it's going to be hard for me to get to this.
Well, Dave, thank you for the call. I intend to go, but not for the full 5 hours.
No, it's a long time.
I mean, especially here in the middle of August on a Saturday. Be hot. Yeah. I will show up from like 2 to 4 or something. But hopefully it's successful. Hopefully we get more than 100 people out there.
We need to get you with some Aria for Sheriff flyers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Maybe we can get one of these counselors who spearheaded this event to come on out and have an anti...
it wasn't a counselor. This is just a guy. Event. This is a guy from...
No. I mean one of the spearheaded the ordinance.
Oh, okay.
We'll get plenty of counter-protesters.
I guarantee it. The reason
they're going to outnumber us.
No, I don't think so.
But how are they going to do it if they're all about social distancing and wearing their masks and whatnot?
They're hypocrites.
Can they even do it?
They're hypocrites. They went out. A bunch of them went out to Black Lives Matter, so they obviously aren't that concerned with it. If they're willing to go out with hundreds of other people and protest in close proximity. But it's going to be interesting because there were some counter-protesters in Plymouth, which is where the previous protest had happened, which Plymouth also just passed a mask mandate apparently recently. Now there's like 7 towns or cities in New Hampshire that have this. So it's actually the same guys who were behind the Plymouth event that are now organizing the Keene one. So we're just along for the ride. From what I understand, nobody will be speaking, along with the other challenger to the governor for the Republican primary, Karen Testerman. And she was recently...
okay. You said okay. When you said nobody will be speaking, I understood that to mean that no one's going to actually just be speaking at this event.
No, our friend and co-host, Nobody. He has a speaking gig at this event. He talked with him today, so it should be interesting.
Okay. Yeah, it should be. Well, hopefully things don't get as dire here as they did in Connecticut, where this one person returned to Connecticut from Louisiana and the other from Florida. Both of them were issued $1,000 fines for not filling out travel forms.
Jeez.
According to the governor. One person also refused to quarantine and were issued an additional $1,000 fine.
All right, so, and I don't know if your story gets into this detail, but what I want to know... Oh, man.
Well, I guess it goes on a little bit more.
What I want to know is, how did they know that this person hadn't filled out the form? Did they come back via airplane? And that's
based on tips received, according to Chief Operating Officer Josh Gibal.
Karens are on the loose.
Yeah, and they didn't fill out the necessary paperwork to get permission to travel back home from Louisiana or Florida. And so now here's $1,000 in fines, and you're refusing to quarantine. Here's another $1,000 fine. Absolutely ridiculous. This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733.
Have you ever thought about turning your Glock, XD Family, or 1911 handgun into a semi-automatic carbine? It only takes about 30 seconds. The MacTech Carbine Upper is classified as an accessory and can be delivered right to your doorstep with no FFL or background check required. It's the world's most versatile pistol accessory. Build your custom upper today. Simply go to handgunconversion.com. That's handgunconversion.com.
Hey, survival gardeners. Garden soil isn't what it used to be. In fact, many gardens are farmed out and some are functionally dead. That means adding back the right trace minerals to your soil can immediately catapult your garden fertility, which means, quite naturally, better tasting and more nutritionally dense fruits and vegetables. So if you got your garden in late and want to help your fruits and vegetables play catch up, or you simply want to pour on the trace elements to maximize this year's harvest, I've got good news. It's not too late to give everything you've got growing this year in your garden a powerful, life-renewing Turbo Boost. And the best part? This unique product creates a type of trace mineral synergy, which means that each mineral and trace element in the formula makes all the other minerals and trace elements much more effective than if they were used alone. Go to cmazing.net to turbo boost your garden. That's cmazing.net. Improve flavor, increase your harvest. Go to cmazing.net.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to generate an endless supply of natural silver solutions. Silverlungs.com. You'll find no wild claims or pseudoscience, just a lifetime of nano-sized pure silver solutions. The Silver Lungs generator allows you to make your own, so stop paying for silver solutions. The unique lung delivery system targets respiratory infections where other silver solutions simply cannot reach. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery.
Cutting specialized units and reducing the pay of some police commanders, including the police chief.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. And you can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. With you tonight in the studio, it's Aria, Conan, and Ian. And Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com that allows you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash using dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted, which means you finally have a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Again, that's local.bitcoin.com. And let's go to the phones. We've got April calling from Arkansas. April, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, guys. It's nice to talk to you again.
You as well. What's on your mind?
Mine is kind of a venting a little bit, but it's about the schools, you know, Walmart, the hospitals, businesses, we're all open, you know, and we all deal with the public and people coming in and out and masks. And I've not heard of one kid dying or falling ill from COVID or anything like that. And, you know, virtual learning that started last year, I didn't get one graded paper back from a teacher. You know, all I got back was just so there was no report saying, hey, your kid's doing well, or you need to improve on this, or you need to improve on that. You know, no other job gets paid even though they're not really working, you know.
Yeah, no other job has a union like the teachers union out there. They're very,
exactly, and that's
they're
crap,
very powerful.
You know? It's crap. And, you know, my thought is, you know, no offense, but from being at home with my kids for the first couple weeks, it was hard, you know, but now that I'm used to it, my kids didn't know anything. You know,
You're breaking up a bit. What
Did you say your kids don't know anything? Is that what you said?
They didn't know anything. They didn't know multiplication, division, you know, just the simple methods of how to do basic math.
How old are
because
they?
Now they do. They're 13.
Jesus.
And I have one that, yes. And the math that they're trying to teach them is just, it's asinine.
Well,
it's not even.
Is Arkansas
basic
one of the Common Core states?
I think they're all Common Core states, but you know that math is racist. So
yeah,
I mean,
it is.
they probably weren't learning because the teachers were afraid of being called bigots.
Well, that's probably not the case in Arkansas.
You know, one of the saddest parts of this call so far is that you didn't know that your kids are 13, you said, and you didn't know they couldn't do basic math?
No, because I'm getting their grades, and when their grades are good, like, you know, you don't think twice about it. You know, you see their papers, you see A's, and you just throw it away, you know. And so I think, like, all of this, you know, has kind of opened my eyes. Like, I got to pay more attention to what they're doing or not doing, you know, because even just asking basic science questions, you know, like, they don't even know what happens to a butterfly and a chrysalis, you know. I mean, just basic stuff, you know. And, I mean, it's like, I literally, watching the college kids run around nowadays, like, it makes sense, you know, because these kids, they just don't know anything.
Well,
they don't know anything.
You know, instead of wishing that the schools would open back up and these teachers would go back to work, maybe the correct decision would be to start looking at other alternatives, and maybe getting your money back from the schools to help with whatever financing that you'll need to go this other route. Because obviously we got schools just sitting there not doing anything. I'd kind of like 52% of my property taxes back. Thank you very much.
I mean, hasn't it always been the case, though, that schools don't really do anything? Is it really that much of an improvement to have the kids actually being in attendance there? I mean, if I could just continue paying the bills and continue paying for the public school system, but kids not have to go, that seems to me an improvement over the current situation where we're being robbed
as long
and
as
they're
the
being
kids
given
were getting
a crap education.
As long as the kids were actually getting something better, but then
it's not my responsibility to give those kids.
But then that's something that you have to pay for.
I don't have to pay for it.
You are paying for it, Aria. This is yes. We always go back to this.
I'm saying that putting the teachers back in school and sending the students back is downhill from where we are right now.
I agree. Don't do it. We need alternatives. We need the community to start getting together, like a lot of these communities around the country are, and they're creating homeschool communities. Compiling all of their efforts and all their energies together. This could work. This could be the solution.
April, thank you so much for the call. Well, it's not going to be the solution in Connecticut, evidently, where the governor has just required masks. And this is a bit beyond what most states have done, because now if you want to claim a health exemption, you have to have a doctor's note, which that can't possibly be compliant with federal law, right? That's got to be a HIPAA violation to
Well, a doctor's note doesn't have to say the reason that they are being told that they can't have masks, or that they're medically unavailable or unable to have masks. It could just simply certify that I, Dr. So-and-so, say that Aria is not able to wear masks.
But they're not allowed to even ask you if you have a medical condition, right?
No, the exemption is a medical condition. If you play the clip, the governor goon there in Connecticut says that he's tired of people abusing the privilege.
Well, let's go to this clip.
We have a lot of people who say, hey, I don't wear a mask in this store because I have a medical condition. Well, I think people are beginning to abuse that privilege. So from here on out, just bring your doctor.
Uh-oh.
Looks like the video just sort of stopped working.
By the way, when was this posted?
This was posted today, it looks like.
I have a medical condition. Well, I think people are beginning to abuse that privilege. So from here on out, just bring your doctor.
And it keeps stopping there for whatever reason.
Permission with you when you aren't wearing that mask and you're in that store, you're in that private area, because that's what the rules are. And finally,
there you go.
For the first time, we have just issued.
That's what he declared.
Yep.
Was that we have to.
It's not even written down yet. He just declared it on this video feed.
Yep.
Yeah,
and now that's the law.
And the reason I asked you when this was posted, because a lot of these Karens out there, these nannies, they scour the news and they look to see what other states, what other governments are doing to get ideas.
Well, isn't that exactly what the counselors here in Keene admitted to doing?
Correct. But the reason I ask is because this became a very hot topic yesterday. One of the counselors he was only musing on the old face bag about what we should do about employers in this city who tell their employees that just claim it's a medical condition and you can get off scot-free and not wear the mask.
This was a local
politician here in Keene. He was musing what we should.
Is this the one who was throwing out colorful insults at people?
He's the one and the same.
Okay.
So he's just putting it out there. But my question is, where did he get the idea, or where did this clown right here get the idea? They might all be on the same groups.
I mean,
strategizing.
They all suffer the same level of derangement. I wouldn't be surprised to find that these people who are so wrapped up in the fear mongering that they believe this is a threat to everyone, and we have to wear the mask. We have to socially distance. So it's no surprising that multiple people who believe that is true. Multiple authoritarians who believe that is true would arrive at these same solutions.
Or it might be on some news program that I don't participate in and watch that they got this information. They all got the idea at right around the same time. And now be looking for something similar in Keene.
Well, they want to know how far they can push these things, you know? They want to know how far can they push the stay-at-home orders, how far can they push the mask ordinance. How far can they push? What's next?
And why? Why is it? Why are we still? It's August, damn it! Why are we still dealing? Look at the cases. The cases are down. Hospitalizations are down. Deaths are down. They're almost non-existent. Why?
New Hampshire is one of 2 states in the U.S. where that's true.
Where the cases have actually gone. Yeah, they've gone down.
Yeah,
there's still fear being pandered all over the place, Conan. And all they have to do is keep whipping up the fear, and then they can get away with anything they want to. You've got a story out of Canada now. The CBC reporting that the top doctor there, Dr. Theresa Tam, said that apparently for the next 2 to 3 years you can expect physical distancing and mask wearing in place even with a vaccine.
These people. You know what? I'm just saying it. We need the Civil War now. I'm ready for it. I'm not. This is. I can't wait another month. This has got to be. This has got to be nipped in the bud because these people are crazy.
And you're not wrong. We're running out of places to buy things that we need in order to survive.
I'm
running out of stores to go to get cigarettes at that aren't going to make me put on a mask.
I've been doing curbside pickup for the last month, figuring out how to do this thing. I've got a story that we might discuss in the next segment about why I think this is going down the way that it's going down. I have a pretty solid theory on why this is happening.
All right, well, we're going to get into that. What do you think about these mask ordinances? Do you wear a mask? Do you think we're heathens for refusing to do it? 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live.
Got shaving irritation? Shave Secret shaving oil can help stop it. Shave Secret doesn't cost much and is an all-American product. My name is Chuck Howard, and I developed Shave Secret and pioneered its use starting back in 1991. Ingrown hairs drove me nuts for years. Shaving oil changed all that. Why put up with ingrown hair, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts? Shave Secret provides men and women with what we believe is the best shave ever. Our proprietary blend of 100% natural base and essential oils plus a hint of menthol was designed to help eliminate shaving irritations like ingrown hairs, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts. We'll lose those shaving irritations. Available at Super Walmart, H-E-B, Wegmans, Giant Eagle, Discount Drug, Navy and Marine Exchanges, Amazon, and ShaveSecret.com. Use the code FTL for Free Talk Live and get a discount. Shave Secret, the best shave ever.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The suspense is over. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden has chosen a running mate.
California Senator Kamala Harris says she's honored to join Joe Biden as the Democrats' nominee for vice president. Harris was announced via text message to supporters, ending weeks of speculation about who Biden would select. During the Democratic primaries, Biden promised to pick a woman as a running mate. Former President Obama says Biden nailed the decision. The Trump campaign has already released an ad critical of Harris, describing her as a phony. RNC Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel says Harris has extreme positions. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
President Trump reacting to Biden's choice of Harris.
I was more surprised than anything else because she did so poorly. Many people did much better than her in the primaries. She did very poorly in the primaries. And that's like a poll.
And the president saying Harris had been very nasty to Biden during the primaries. Also during this afternoon's news conference, the president saying the U.S. has signed an agreement with Moderna to acquire 100 million doses of its potential COVID-19 vaccine. Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkin reacting after Police Chief Carmen Best announced she was stepping down hours after the city council approved cutting as many as 100 officers from the department and to cutting her salary.
They targeted only Carmen Best. They targeted the team she has assembled, and they did it despite the fact that they know it's not enforceable, it's not legal, and spoiler alert, the charter requires me to honor the contracts and agreements that Chief Best made, and I plan to do so.
Best had been at odds with the mayor and council over the handling of violent protests in the city, criticizing the banning of pepper spray. Deputy Chief Adrian Diaz will serve as interim chief. America is listening to Fox News.
2020 hasn't let up, but we have to keep this economy rolling. NetSuite will help your business make that happen. That's why over 21,000 companies, including Boll & Branch, makers of the world's softest sheets, choose NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Everything you need all in one place. We talked to David Reed, CFO of Boll & Branch, about how they use NetSuite.
Before NetSuite, we were stitched together with spreadsheets and hope. Now I have only one source of truth for our financials, HR, inventory, and supply chain. Because NetSuite is cloud-based, working from home didn't change a thing. We're still bringing affordable luxury into homes all across America. I'm now closing the books 5 to 10 times faster thanks to NetSuite.
NetSuite surveyed hundreds of business leaders and assembled a playbook of the top strategies they're using as America reopens for business. Receive your free guide, 7 actions businesses need to take now, and schedule your free product tour at netsuite.com/Fox.
Well, U.S. states are making individual choices about whether to have in-person classes this academic year. Britain's Prime Minister is pushing for schools to be open.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson doubling down on his plans to fully reopen schools here next month.
It's not right that kids should spend more time out of school.
Johnson saying he wants the new academic year to start on time to help students' health and well-being.
It's our moral duty as a country to make sure that happens.
British schools closed in March as the coronavirus took hold, then reopened only partially ahead of summer vacations. In London, Simon Owen, Fox News.
With cases of COVID-19 springing up in several major league teams, there's a question as to whether the St. Louis Cardinals will be able to complete the season.
In an interview with the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred expressed doubt that the Cardinals will be able to make up all the games that they've seen postponed as a result of their COVID-19 outbreak, saying, quote, "I think they are going to play. I think it's possible for them to play enough games to be a credible competitor this season," end quote. Manfred did not provide a minimum number. The Cards haven't played since July 29th as a result of these multiple coronavirus cases. This as Cleveland Indians pitcher Mike Clevenger will miss his next start, sent into quarantine after failing to admit that he joined teammate Zach Plesac in leaving the team's hotel in Chicago Saturday to go out. Clevenger flew back with the team Sunday. Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
Facebook has a new policy that would prevent publishers in the U.S. with political ties from running ads presented as news articles. Under the new policy, those publishers would still be allowed to register as a news page, but their ads would not appear in the Facebook News part of the site. New York Attorney General Letitia James is suing one of the country's largest egg producers, Hillendale Farms, claiming its price gouge more than 4 million cartons of eggs sold to grocery store chains, the U.S. military, and wholesale food distributors. The lawsuit seeks restitution for customers. I'm Lisa Sarah. This is Fox News.
From Betty Davis's first role as a piece of chocolate cake in the 1931 film Palmy Days to the discovery of Niagara Falls in 1996, The Onion looks back at this week in history. On May 16, 1929, the first Academy Awards were handed out in categories such as Greatest Achievement in Blackface, Best Catholic Whipping Scene, and Most Gorgeous Gams on a Broad. The highlight of the night occurred when Wings won the award for Best Picture without a single Dago, Tar Baby, or Wetback. And on May 15, 1940, the first McDonald's opened in San Bernardino, California, back when a young Grimace was just working as a cashier. And that was what happened this week in history. As Martin Luther King Jr. once said, history is actually pretty racist.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Ian.
And Conan.
And we're talking about masks as usual here because
so tiresome.
I know, man.
But it's literally in your face.
Yep.
Well, they want it to be.
Yeah.
Right. And evidently here in New Hampshire, it's now required to be, according to His Excellency, Almighty Emperor himself, Godking Sununu, has decreed that any gatherings, any scheduled non-regular gatherings of 100 or more people have to wear masks or some sort of nonsense along those lines.
Yep.
What is that order exactly?
The latest order, number 63 of His Excellency, issuing
How many
these.
is that a month? That's averaging 12 to 15 a month.
Yeah, but a bunch of them came in the first 2 or 3 months. They're coming slower nowadays. The last one was August 5th, I think. So this one came out today. This is number 63. After a good 2 pages full of whereas, where they talk about all their alleged statistics and facts surrounding COVID-19. They cite that neighboring states have reported significant numbers of COVID-19 cases and that many individuals who attend large gatherings in New Hampshire come to this state from those other states. Therefore, pursuant to Section 18 of blah,
So there were
blah,
2 pages of these whereas,
almost.
And that was, good Lord.
Usually there's 3 or 4 of them. This one's actually a little on the short side. So here's what they order: effective immediately that face coverings shall be required for all persons who attend or otherwise present at the following activities that take place within the state of New Hampshire.
I love legal language, man. Who attend or are otherwise present.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, if you want to get into the legal land aspect of this, somebody like Mark Stevens or our new mover here, Calvin, who used to produce for Mark Stevens. Mark wrote a book called Adventures in Legal Land, so he's got some experience kind of taking this stuff apart. Some people would like to ask, and if you did get fined under this or charged, because it'll actually be a misdemeanor charge if you violate this, that you should ask in court when they have the man on the stand that is the witness against you, whichever cop it is or whoever, can you please define the state of New Hampshire? What is this? What is the state of New Hampshire? Am I within the state of New Hampshire?
Wouldn't he say yes?
Well, they might. But then I would like to know, what is the state of New Hampshire? Factually, what is it?
It's borders.
Go ahead, put yourself in the... Okay, you want to answer the question?
So, I'm not going to answer
that. So, officer, you're saying that I was within the state of New Hampshire?
You were with these borders, which have been deemed the state of New Hampshire.
Okay, so are you defining the state of New Hampshire as political boundaries? Are you saying that it's the land?
I'm going to say everything within these borders that have been deemed the state of New Hampshire by law.
Okay. So, and this is where
we need to put the state of New Hampshire on the stand so that it can, support its charges against me.
Well, they would say that that's impossible. But we can bring you representatives of the state of New Hampshire, which represent you, by the way, Aria.
How do they?
Because you voted for them and elected them into office.
I didn't vote for them.
I'm just saying.
I didn't elect them. I didn't put them into office.
So where is this argument going?
I mean, this is where there's certain responses that you should make that I don't know off the top of my head because I'm not practiced at it.
Oh, this is that sovereign citizen stuff, right?
No, it's not sovereign citizen stuff. It's just asking questions about what is the state? Because some people would say what you said, which is to say that it's the land, that this land between this arbitrary boundary, the Connecticut River, and this other arbitrary boundary on the east side and wherever, that this is the state of New Hampshire.
And some people might say that it is the people and the government that represents those people.
Well, some people would say that the state is actually a body politic of individuals who are members of this particular organization calling itself the state of New Hampshire. Because, I think I remember the response. If somebody says it's the land, if the cop says it's the land, so are you saying that I'm being charged by the land? Oh, no, I am the state of New Hampshire. Well, now, wait a minute. What is the state of New Hampshire? You're the state of New Hampshire?
Which is what I would say that I am not the state of New Hampshire, but I do represent
the state of New Hampshire.
And I was...
Are you representing the land or are you representing a body politic?
That's what I would go body politic.
Yeah.
I represent the people, which make up the state of New Hampshire.
Okay, so now, if we're agreeing that the state is a body politic, is there any evidence that I am within the state of New Hampshire?
Well, then maybe it's a combination of the land and the body politic.
Well, these are the interesting questions you can ask, if you are brought up on charges under this. Let's get it on the record. What's the definition of the state of New Hampshire?
Does it get you charged with contempt of court?
Things like this could. Yeah, there is a possibility.
But it's not contemptual. It's just, I have supreme contempt for the court, but they don't need to know that.
The Mark Stevens tactics tend to put judges into positions where they have to either protect their buddies or get very angry. And they frequently will drop a charge based on you've cornered them now into either having to admit that they're just a criminally violent gang or drop the charge, basically. It's a very interesting approach. So anyway, did you want to hear more of this?
Yeah, absolutely.
So scheduled gatherings of 100 people or more for social, spiritual, so any church with more than 100 attendees is going to be in violation of this if they aren't all wearing masks.
What about peaceful protests? Is that on the list?
That is a scheduled gathering for social, spiritual, and recreational activities, including but not limited to community, civic, public, private, leisure, faith-based, political, or sporting events, parades, concerts, festivals, conventions, fundraisers, and similar activities where individuals are gathered in the same place at the same time.
But what if the peaceful protests are Black Lives Matter? Is Sununu going to go up against them?
Well, the Black Lives Matter people had wear masks in their notices.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
And that was before it was illegal. Now it's illegal. Now, according to, well, some would say this isn't the law, but certainly the police, some of them are acting like it is. It's just a governor's order. Technically, by their own definitions, it's not a law.
Now, here's a question. So you have
It isn't, and I went by Cumberland Farms today, and they have a new sign on the door, presumably because of the Keene ordinance, but their sign says because of statewide requirements. You must wear a mask when entering.
Yeah, well,
Which state?
Tractor Supply says...
New Hampshire, apparently.
Tractor Supply says because of orders from the governor, we require masks in this facility.
So they at least know it's not a law. So
someone's making things up.
Well, it is because of orders from the government.
No, this was 3 months ago.
Yeah,
this is before anyone said anything. The Tractor Supply is, of course...
These businesses will just put whatever blame they can on the government. Oh, it's not us doing it. We're just doing it because the government says so, and just quiet.
Okay, here's a question. You have 150 people in an event. 100 of them are wearing masks. 50 of them are not. Do you think that would be rule breaking?
What if you have two different events, each of them containing 99 people that end up being in the same Central Square here in Keene?
How do you know? Yeah, it's
99 of these people are here for the anti-mask protest.
Well,
the other 99 are here for something totally unrelated, and they just happen to not be wearing masks.
Correct. Here's how you do that. So we'll have the event on Saturday.
There's no way we're getting 198 people to this thing.
No. Well, we have one event, which is the anti-mask event. And we throw another event the same day, same place, Phil's birthday. And if anything,
Phil?
Who cares? So if anything happens...
Well, let's do Robert Paulson's birthday then.
If anything happens...
That would at least be funnier.
If anything goes down, you could just split everyone up and says, I was at Phil's birthday party, and these guys were the anti-mask guys.
Yeah, how do they know which group is which? You don't have to reserve the park. It's a common.
Right.
Anyone who wants to can show up there. How would they know who's with who?
You could just be a maskless spectator.
And by the way, there is going to be a second event there at the same time in the morning because there's the peace vigil that happens there every Saturday.
And then you have your anti-maskers there.
Right, so there's going to be at least 3 different groups.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Wish I didn't have to work.
Oh, and they're going to go after the organizer, by the way.
Do they know the organizer?
Well, they're going to try to figure it out. Usually they'll show up and say, who's in charge here?
Nobody, dude. We just kind of
but they're
gathered.
not all like us. Somebody will point to somebody.
This is Free Talk Live.
News from news.bitcoin.com. Goldman Sachs warns that the U.S. dollar is on the path to lose world reserve currency status. Experts say that Bitcoin will continue to rise to as much as $20,000 this year. Coinbase reports more institutional investors are buying cryptocurrency. Cashgames.bitcoin.com announces a $3,000 leaderboard tournament. Bitcoin.com is your source for getting started with cryptocurrencies, getting a wallet, buying Bitcoin Cash, mining, and all the latest cryptocurrency news at news.bitcoin.com. Divvy's been a pretty good investment for Free Talk Live. Their ad campaign started in September 2019, and from mid-March to mid-July, the values soared by 10 times. It's not too late. Divvy's new wallet hasn't even released yet, and other things are happening that I can't even say on the radio. If you want to invest and potentially do well, go to DivvyProject.org. I can tell you that FTL is deepening its partnership with the guys from DivvyProject.org. Past performance is not an indication of future profit. DivvyProject.org. DIVI Project.org.
July 25th, we adopted April. She's a purebred, orange and white Brittany. But when she started scratching like crazy, I said to John, it's got to be her food. You know, what you put into a dog is what you get out. We heard this radio commercial, and this woman was so excited about Dinovite, DINOVITE.com. I said to John, I'm getting this. So the Dinovite comes, and I thought, a light bulb moment. She loves her dog food. She always leaves a little bit in her bowl. So we added a huge scoop of Dinovite in it, and then we swished it around like gravy. She dove into that bowl. She licked it clean. She loved it. So that's been the routine. April gets Dinovite for dessert. Her coat is now soft. It's silky. Dinovite is nutrition. She even walks like a little princess.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
On Dinovite, she's Little Miss Hollywood. DINOVITE.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of
where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. The LRN.FM's social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight in the studio, it's Aria, Ian, and Conan. And from mid-March to mid-July, Divi, the new easy-to-use cryptocurrency that we have been promoting on Free Talk Live, increased in value by 10 times. Nothing's stopping Divi from increasing exponentially again, and in fact, that's their goal. Divi's price jumped 10 times in correlation with the release of their beta wallet. Will they go up further when the wallet is fully released? I don't know, but at Free Talk Live, we're happy with our decision to hook up with Divi a year ago. You can go to diviproject.org and begin earning Divi by starting a masternode or staking Divi. They even have a lottery for people who stake the coin. Opportunity has knocked every day here on Free Talk Live since last September. Will you answer? diviproject.org. That's diviproject.org. Let's go to the phones. We've got Mike calling from Colorado. Mike, you're on Free Talk Live.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for taking my call, and it's so great to be here. I just had a quick comment about Senator Kamala Harris, the Joe Biden VP pick, which was recently announced earlier today. So, I think it was such a dynamic choice on Joe's end. And, some of her experience, District Attorney of San Francisco, Attorney General of California, U.S. Senator from 2017 to present. And I just think,
you missed her big calling cards here. I mean, she's a woman.
I think
she's a person of color.
Yeah.
She's a cop.
Well, she's very important to me.
Democrats
and I think
don't care
she's very
about that
important.
because, one, she's a woman and she's a person of color.
Supposedly they do. How do you think, Mike, all of the defunders, the police defunders are going to take this? Or do you think they were even going to vote for Biden in the first place? Because I don't think they were.
Of course they are. These are the same people who...
These are Bernie boys.
These are the same people who supported Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez when she was like, we need to abolish ICE.
Bernie's out, and Bernie supports the police, too. He came out with a statement.
Right. Well,
you can't trust these guys.
I think that she's very important to the future of this country, and I think that, it's going to be, it's kind of like Game On.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Are you serious, bro?
I think she's going to play an important part to the future of this country.
Way?
I think she has a lot of good ideas on diversity. I think she has
really?
a lot
like
of
what?
So, like I said, she's black and she's a woman.
Right, but I think she genuinely wants to help people, and I think that
her record as Attorney General does not suggest that.
Especially on her own community,
Yeah,
she was hurting them more than anyone.
Yeah, do you know what an Attorney General does?
They oversee the cases in their district for their state.
Yeah, they're the top cop.
Yeah. Right.
So you think this woman helps people? She's putting peaceful people in prison in California.
Mm-hmm. Well, I definitely think she's making steps in the right direction to help.
Which direction is that?
Well, just to help the conversation of racial injustice in this country.
How's that?
How
many black people do you think she sent to prison?
Well, there's a reason that they were sent to prison. So, I mean, I don't think that they were.
So how's she helping racial injustice?
I think she's helping racial injustice.
Is it because she's like an Uncle Tom? Is it because she's an
No.
Uncle Tom and she does whatever she's told to do?
I think she takes time to listen to people's issues, hear their problems.
She didn't take the time to hear evidence that the drug lab that were testing people in more than 1,000 cases when she was the DA was actually sound. I mean, she didn't take time to care then or to help people then.
And what happened there? They put people in prison wrongfully?
Yes. More than 1,000 people, evidently. Cases that were ultimately dismissed, and, Kamala Harris didn't want to let these people out of jail because, she's the DA. This is how they make all their money.
It's a political position, too, and she wants to get as many convictions as she possibly can so she can do things like run for office and talk about how tough on crime she is.
Yeah, but we know how she really got in her position. But anyways, Mike, are you going to be voting for a Biden-Kamala ticket?
I think that she is kind of an opportunist. I mean, I totally agree with you that she, obviously to get in those positions of high power like that, DA, Attorney General, you have to kind of... Well, now, hold
on. Is she an opportunist or is she somebody who's genuinely trying to help people? Because it doesn't work both ways.
A little bit of both. I think.
No, it doesn't work both ways.
Okay.
So, Mike, you are in support of Kamala Harris, correct? And you think...
Well, I'm not supporting her. I'm kind of a libertarian myself.
No, you're not.
So I
You're just trolling. Either you're just trolling or you actually believe the words that are coming out of your mouth.
I just, honestly, I wanted to get your opinion on Kamala Harris.
All right, I'll give you my opinion. I'll give you my opinion. She's a horrible human being.
She is a politician. She's
Biden
a lying scum.
And Biden is an idiot.
Okay.
I will also. I will add that
politician.
she's not an Uncle Tom. She's an Aunt Jemima.
She's worse than a politician. She's also a cop.
No, she can't be Aunt Jemima because they took her out.
Yes, and they made her the vice presidential Democratic candidate.
And Aunt Jemima is sweet, and if I ate pancakes, I would love to pour her all over my pancakes.
Yep. Mike, thank you so much for the call. I don't think it was a good choice. I think there's almost anyone with the D next to their name who would have been a better choice.
It's really the worst choice.
Now I've heard.
What about Tulsi Gabbard? That would have been at least a decent choice.
But she's too much of an rabble rouser.
Yeah, that wouldn't have worked at all.
She's anti-war.
Yes, well, that's what the Democratic left kind of needs right now.
That's not what they want.
That's not what they claim to want. I mean, look at Trump talking about pulling more troops out, and they're all up in arms like they've never been before. It's like, wait, hold on now. Are you anti-war or not?
I mean, plus Tulsi Gabbard's no fan of the police.
Now I've heard from the Democrats or people who used to be Democrats that Kamala or however you say her name, she would never be picked because of her skin color. If anything happened to Biden, she would in fact become the first woman black president.
Certainly.
And when you consider how...
And it's likely something will happen to Biden.
And when you consider
he's likely to do something to himself on accident.
When you consider how racist Democrats are at their core, they say they're not, but they really are. They would never pick a black woman first before a white woman was first elected.
I don't know.
So this is a new play. The fact that he went this route, I didn't think that he was going to go this route.
There was no other alternative that I saw. I mean, this was who I always assumed was going to be the VP pick.
If there was any doubt before, Joe Biden may be even more of a police status than Trump. It's hard to say, but man, with this choice, it's getting pretty clear.
Question: what would happen? So he's the Democratic
nominee.
Yeah, what would happen if he died next month? Would Kamala move up in rank?
Or would they
vote for another nominee?
I guess they could probably throw it in something at the last minute, but a lot of state ballots may be printed already by that point. So, there's a good chance that Biden would appear. Because remember back in 2000, I think it was the year 2000, or maybe it was 2004, there was that one race where John Ashcroft ran against some guy who died in the middle of the race. John Ashcroft, like the former head of Department of Homeland Security or whoever the hell he was. He was with the Bush administration. And I don't know, it was like a U.S. Senate race or some fairly large, it might have been U.S. Rep. But anyway, this guy beat John Ashcroft from the grave.
Wow.
And everybody knew he died too, right? Like, so it wasn't like a secret that this guy died. They went out and voted for the dead guy to beat John Ashcroft.
Was this in New Hampshire?
No.
Oh, wow.
Some other state.
That's surprising.
Governor Mel Carnahan?
That's it, yeah.
Killed 3 weeks ago in a plane crash.
I would expect that sort of thing in New Hampshire. Oh, we got a dead guy on the ticket. We're voting for him. Yeah, that's the guy we need.
Well, you got some municipalities are voting their cats in as mayor.
And this is Free Talk Live.
News from news.bitcoin.com. Goldman Sachs warns that the U.S. dollar is on the path to lose world reserve currency status. Experts say that Bitcoin will continue to rise to as much as $20,000 this year. Coinbase reports more institutional investors are buying cryptocurrency. Cashgames.bitcoin.com announces a $3,000 leaderboard tournament. Bitcoin.com is your source for getting started with cryptocurrencies, getting a wallet, buying Bitcoin Cash, mining, and all the latest cryptocurrency news at news.bitcoin.com. Did you know you can support freedom of speech just by visiting shop.freetalklive.com? You'll see links to Walmart, Love Java, Newegg, and more. Every day, Free Talk Live is at the forefront of the liberty movement as the biggest liberty-oriented talk show in the world, giving you a platform to be heard on any topic. Get listener-only specials without doing anything other than an extra click. Visit shop.freetalklive.com. Use the links and buy what you'd be buying anyway. Take action now. Save and support freedom. Visit shop.freetalklive.com. It's shop.freetalklive.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it! You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and you can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Aria, Conan, and Ian. And let's go to the phones. We've got Stephen calling from Winnipeg here in New Hampshire. Stephen, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey guys, I have some important breaking news out of Aberdeen Proving Ground, Maryland. This pertains to the United States military. You see, the Army conducted a soldier first survey from mid-June to late July, asking the soldiers a number of questions about the tools they needed to remain an Army soldier. And the number one piece of equipment the military needs to survive in combat, according to the soldiers, is rifles that also serve as Wi-Fi hotspots that can connect to Facebook and Twitter.
Did they really say that?
What? Look, I want to tell everyone about duffelblog.com. Duffelblog.com. It's a hilarious satire website.
Okay. So this isn't true.
Is created by military people. It's really funny.
I think there is some semblance of truth to this, though, because I was actually just talking with a couple of guys. Tyler is our Thursday night co-host here on Free Talk Live. He was in the Navy, and I forget who it was that was saying this, but basically, like, even when he compares to like what it was like when he was in the Navy, which was just within the last decade or so, and what it's like now, like it just keeps getting softer and softer. It's like easier and easier to get through the basic trainings and the expectations that they have. He joked that you remember the news story about that Navy ship that was on fire like a month ago or 3 weeks ago, and it just kept burning for like days while it was in the port. They couldn't control the fire on it. He says if any other...
Wait, and no steel beams melted?
I don't know any of the details on it, Conan, but what he joked is that if any other ship catches fire, then they're just all going to burn because these people don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to put a fire out. They, like the people on the boat couldn't handle this.
Well, that's not just the military. That's a lot of it's a lot of organizations out there.
Well, his point was they're getting softer and softer, and I think that's what the joke is, Stephen, that you're reading there, is that these military boys are getting soft, and so they just want to be on Wi-Fi instead of.
Well,
doing
how
anything.
does one put out a fire that can engulf a ship of that size?
I don't know. I guess firemen know that sort of thing.
Surrounded by water, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's above the water, not in it.
Well, I mean, you would think you could just drop your sump hoses down into the water and just endless supply. It's not like you're going to run out of retardant.
The truth is, everyone should get ready for the robotic military that is purchased from Boston Dynamics with a bunch of robot drone things, and the kind of soldiers that you're going to see are people who are really good at controlling robots over Wi-Fi. And those people are going to be.
And it's going to be straight.
They're going to be highly specialized.
It's going to be
and
straight.
They're going to love Twitter.
I'm sorry. It's going to be straight Ender's Game. You're going to have little kids over in the desert somewhere in military bases, and they think they're playing video games, but in actuality, they're actually controlling these robots and they're killing human beings, but they don't realize it till the end of the book.
100%. And you know what? That's better than humans killing humans, because there's less death. And eventually we'll get to a world with no death and no militaries. But in the meantime...
that was the thing, though. I don't think the American robots will be shooting at,
other countries' robots. It might be like that.
Yeah, well, it's only halfway there.
That would be great. Then it's just like a never-ending episode of Robot Wars, where these people just assume that the victory or loss of their robot is a bigger deal than it is.
Except we're constantly working ourselves to the bone, paying taxes into all these new robots, and so that kind of sucks.
Well, I think you have a responsibility as an American patriot to do your best to use the corporate laws to not pay any taxes, And if you want some entertainment, go to duffelblog.com. And if you're a normal person and you want to defund the military, you should use Bitcoin Cash instead of dollars everywhere you go, because using dollars funds the military and causes all of this death.
Yeah. Stephen, thank you so much for the call. Always a pleasure to have you.
He's calling us from AnyPay headquarters, by the way.
He is. I saw that. Awesome company. We now have 2 additional places here in Keene that are accepting cryptocurrency because of the AnyPay app.
Keene Barber, and then YOLO, which is a ice cream place.
It's exciting developments. I would absolutely agree.
He's talking. He wants to say something else there.
Guys, by the way, like very soon, this is really Keene specific, but you're not going to have to touch the iPad to choose which currency you want to use. You can just scan the code that shows up first and pay.
Soon.
It's going to be magic.
Soon.
Now, is this going to be the
Very
same
soon.
sort of technology that allows you to put out the QR codes like on your merchandise like you guys have at the AnyPay headquarters?
That is the same technology, yes.
Very
so
good.
for anyone listening along and they want the best Bitcoin experience, they should get the Edge wallet. That's the best wallet for Bitcoin. So download the Edge wallet in the Play Store or the App Store, and you're going to have the best experience using Bitcoin. And if you're a merchant, AnyPay is the way.
It's true. AnyPayinc.com. Thanks, Stephen.
And the Edge wallet in particular is great. I mean, that's the one I use when I go shopping. I used to use Coinami just because that's where all of my crypto addresses were
and
going.
then they closed their source. Koinomi was originally an open source project, and at some point they were like, okay, we're closing it up. Like, what? What are you doing?
I don't think I ever used them when they were open source. My issue with them was that the desktop version of their wallet was sending out people's 14-word passphrases to Google over plain
Unencrypted.
HTTP to be spell checked.
Yep, not good.
I mean, I do not want my cryptocurrency held by a company that makes decisions by them. And it's not held by the company, but I mean,
they made a huge mistake.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the level of security and awareness these people are putting into their application, I don't want to use it.
But the nice thing would have been if they'd stayed open source, somebody could have like caught the bug and fixed it or whatever, but they had closed their source, and I believe Edge is actually open source and takes contributions from all manner of people that want to contribute to the work. So
it is open source, and from what I've seen, Chris Wade, who is a co-host here, and some others are looking into hiring a programmer to add a certain thing to the Edge wallet. So that it works with Dash, right?
That's right.
I don't use a lot of Dash anyway. So
and BSV and BTC. So there's some pretty cool stuff coming.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. It'll be nice to not have to say. I was a little bothered when they removed the Bitcoin Cash words from the logo, because now I have to, when I go in there, I'm like, oh, I'm paying with Bitcoin Cash. I'm like, oh, it's BCH. But hey, it's not a big deal.
They know. I hope they're going to be working on that. He's smiling right now. So
but I mean, it's still not a big deal to just like, I mean BCH. So
I don't think he knows he's gone yet, and he's not, because he's still there. What, Stephen?
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
They don't want to know. They don't want to know which coin you want to use. Just tell them you want to pay with AnyPay, and then use whichever coin you want. It'll just magically work. They won't have to know.
This is like within the next couple of weeks. You're jumping the gun here, Stephen. This isn't ready yet.
But this is live right now with the Edge
just
wallet
get ready.
and Bitcoin
just
Cash.
Get ready.
Right?
Put it in your mind.
Yeah.
Put it in your mind. Yeah. By the time you go again to spend, it'll be there.
Well,
unless you're in Keene, which we're going tomorrow.
What is the AnyPay specific QR code that the AnyPay app is generating if it's not that?
It's a QR code that works with all the wallets. It works with the Edge wallet for all the currencies, and it works with the Dash wallet and the Hand Cash wallet.
Right. Isn't the AnyPay app already generating that QR code, though?
It is, but the Edge wallet isn't quite ready for it. So that's why I say,
but it works with everything but Dash and like Bitcoin Core.
No, not yet.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
Well, if you use Bitcoin Cash, obviously you're ahead of the game.
It's true.
And right. But yeah, either way, go ahead and get the Edge wallet if you're a listener and you haven't tried Bitcoin yet. It's the best, and you won't regret it. You're going to love it.
Not too late. Great advice. Thank you, Stephen.
Excellent, Stephen. And you can find the Edge wallet at edge.app. It's also on the Google Play and the iOS stores. I would definitely recommend people use it. You don't have to worry about any of that 14-word passphrase nonsense or any of that.
Easy.
Yeah, just log in with your new username and password, and you're in. It's great. This is Free Talk Live.
If you or a loved one is a survivor of abuse by Boy Scouts of America representatives as far back as the 1970s, we urge you to speak up. We'll stand with you and get you the help and financial compensation you deserve. A jury in Portland, for example, awarded $18.5 million in punitive damages in one Boy Scout sexual abuse case. The Boy Scouts of America filed for bankruptcy, and funds have been set aside to compensate those injured. Time is limited, and so are the funds. Call today. Don't wait. For free information on how to file your claim, call All Survivors Advocates right now. We have a long track record in helping our clients get the legal justice and compensation they deserve. Please, we are ready to help you. Call today.
800-364-2984. 800-364-2984. 800-364-2984. That's 800-364-2984. If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, Medicaid, or have private insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. Managing your diabetes is crucial to your health. The new CGM can automatically and easily help you manage your diabetes more effectively. And by using a CGM, you can eliminate the one thing most people with diabetes dislike the most: finger sticks. Now you can automatically manage your diabetes and end the painful finger sticks. Solara Medical Supplies makes it simple for you to have a new CGM. We'll do all the insurance paperwork for you and deliver the newest in diabetic care technology right to your door. Take charge of your diabetes today with the help of a new continuous glucose monitor. Call now to learn more. 800-547-5331. 800-547-5331. 800-547-5331. That's 800-547-5331.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and you can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. With you in the studio tonight is Aria, Conan, and Ian. And let's keep going with the phones. We got Rob calling from Vermont. Rob, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, what's on your mind?
Hey, you guys were talking earlier. I think that guy from California there, he was talking about Kamala Harris, the one that got picked by Biden, and how much of a wonderful person she is.
Oh, Kamala Harris. Yeah. He wasn't California. He was, I've already forgotten the state. Washington, I think.
Washington. Okay. My bad.
It's okay.
But, these people like that, they just continue to break the laws, and they're allowed to continue on with either a county job or a state job or a federal job. Like, for instance...
When you say these people, you mean politicians, right?
Politicians.
Yeah.
Right. Like, for instance, like the city of Keene, they had an attorney that was the Peter Heed. He was the county attorney, and then he went on to become the attorney general in the state of New Hampshire. And then a year and a half, 2 years into there, he got arrested. He left his position because he was playing, grab ass up at Mount Washington.
What was he doing?
The city of Keene, allowed him to come back and take the original position that he had again.
Mm-hmm.
And then a year or so after that, he was arrested for DWI, and he lost his position. It's people like that. I mean, another prime example is like what happened today. The former mayor of Claremont, New Hampshire, sent to jail for 2 months for child molestation.
Oh, man.
2 months.
Well, it's just a few bad apples.
A few bad apples.
The former mayor, hold on, I haven't seen this anywhere. The former mayor of Claremont has been sent to jail for 2 months for child molestation.
He molested this 20-year-old woman that's retired. I guess she's got the mind of a first grader. And the same former mayor was on the school board and everything else, and and so what else has he done?
Now wait a minute. At what age?
He was charged with sexual assault.
At what age?
But it wasn't child molestation.
I was going to say, at what age did he molest this 20-year-old? If it was child molestation.
Well, I mean, if this person's got the mind of only a first grader,
he sexually assaulted a disabled woman.
Yes,
so
that's
I guess
what I'm.
In my book, that is assaulting a child.
Well, now that's an interesting
discussion. It doesn't say
discussion.
anything here about the person being mentally disabled.
Well, either way,
it doesn't say anything about the victim, though.
Okay, but it's still an interesting question, though, right? Like, if there's an age of consent in New Hampshire that's the age of 16 for sex, then a mentally disabled person who is 20 or 30 or 40, are they ever able to make a decision that they want to have sex? Or some doctor said at some point, well, you have the mind of a 10-year-old.
And a reverse question, if it can work in that direction where someone older than the age of consent in terms of years cannot have sex because of their mental...
Because some doctors...
Yeah, because of where their brain is at. Because someone who is under that age be qualified because of where their brain is at.
Oh, no,
maybe they're
never
exceptionally
any point.
mature.
No, at never any point could that ever be allowed, according to
then the other
law.
can't be allowed. I mean, if we're going to go by hard numbers, hard 100% concrete ages, then that's what we're going to go by, right?
The victim was developmentally disabled, and it was another girl as well. And I guess we might be hearing stories about that as well. And this
Thanks,
is
Robert.
Robert, thank you for the call. There's a lot of background noise there, so we appreciate it. I certainly hadn't seen anything about this yet.
Well, he's right about the Peter Heed story. That's an old story. He's referring to the county attorney here in Cheshire County was the head attorney general in New Hampshire, and he did resign amid charges of sexual harassment.
Hey, let's be honest. I mean, positions of power attract power-seeking individuals who usually turn out doing things like these, and the times that we actually find out about them, a lot of these people are just skating under the rug. They're getting away with murder, and we don't even know about it, or we never hear about it because some friend judge decides that we should take care of this.
So this person may have been under the legal age anyway, I don't know without reading the article, but the person...
You mean at the time?
Yes, the person was a developmentally disabled Stevens High School student.
Oh.
I mean, there are high school students who are 17 and 18, and in New
16.
Hampshire that would have been illegal. I mean, totally legal.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say. I mean, unless I go further down here and dig into it, and I'm just not that. No.
We already know he's a scumbag.
Oh, obviously. I mean, he was 78, evidently, when this happened.
Well, I mean, guys can still make babies, I think, at that age. So I imagine some of them are still driven. The old dirty old man terminology exists for a reason.
Dirty old lecher.
Right? I think
his quotes about this are absolutely shocking.
Let's hear it.
Did I do it because my 18-year-old libido came back? It felt good, and I became the 18-year-old again.
Quote from the mother: "My daughter has nightmares and she's not the same anymore." End quote.
How did he get in the same room with this girl?
He took two girls on a.
I mean, if you're the mayor, it can't be too difficult.
Well, look, I mean, I don't know. Does the mayor spend a lot of time in the high school?
He took them on an off-campus volunteering opportunity to an animal shelter.
Oh, and then did what?
Well,
do they get into the details?
Oh, they got to the petting zoo at the very least, clearly.
And Biden was there, and he's like, "That could have been me."
Biden was there. He's like, too old.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening here in New Hampshire. Former mayor arrested.
And this was which town?
Claremont.
Okay.
Just north of us.
And it doesn't say that he was like sentenced to 2 years or anything like that. What I've seen is that he was released on PR.
Yeah.
Is what I've seen. So who knows? Maybe we'll have a development at some point. Conan, you had a story that you brought in. I don't have it pulled up in front of me. Do you?
I do. So the big question, getting back to the old COVID nonsense, the game, is, if this was actually planned from the beginning, which I believe it was, at least it was overhyped in such a way and that a lot of powerful people are taking advantage of it. I think it was completely planned. But anyways, despite all of that,
I don't agree.
Who stands to gain from this crisis? And as I've said before, a lot of people are taking advantage. I don't think it's one cabal that is pulling all the strings and making all the decisions. I think it's a bunch of people, bunch of different groups. You got big pharma making their vaccines. You've got local governments, state governments, federal governments, whole country governments that stand to get a lot from this. You have the Democrats with their mail-in voting who stand to get a lot from this. They think, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
You have.
I heard there was record turnout in Hawaii. They had a mail-in vote.
Well, I mean, if the mail-in,
do they mail the ballot to your house?
Correct, and you mail it right back. And
I mean, that's a lot easier. I could certainly see turnout being enormously increased.
But typically, if the stats are correct, Democrats will always get the upper hand if you don't have to physically go in somewhere, because people are just lazy, and a lot of them happen to be Democrats. But anyways, other people,
I would also argue that by the numbers, there are a lot more Democrats in the United States than there are Republicans.
Another group who stands to benefit from this are the Prince Charleses of the world. That we were talking about the World Economic Forum, where they're all getting together talking about their Great Reset. And then, of course, you got the Bill Gates of the world with this megalomaniac eugenicist who wants to control everything. This is his Sim City, and he is out to just control everything and reduce.
Why do you accuse him of this? I realize he's
obsessed. Because he says it all the time. He is obsessed with population reduction and
he's spouting
population
his
control.
Opinions.
Yeah, but he's got billions of dollars.
No. They're not opinions when he is actually making it happen. When he is actually.
So, are you against capitalism?
This is not capitalism.
Are you against a billionaire who built a thing that made him billions of dollars, using that money to influence the society the way that he chooses?
I don't know where you're going with this, because what he's doing is not capitalism. When you take my rights away from me and you use government, the force and power of government that you control in a way to control me, how is that capitalism? That's not freedom. That's not free market.
That isn't exactly the question I asked either. So if he bought out every store on the planet, was like, I don't want you to sell to
how
people
is he
who
able to
aren't
do that?
wearing masks.
He can't do that in a free market.
If he's got billions of dollars, he certainly could.
Why does he have billions of dollars?
This is Free Talk Live.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for everyone to use it in everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that's as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more, and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
He was surprised. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump talks about the selection of Kamala Harris as Joe Biden's running mate.
During his Tuesday briefing, the president reacted to the Harris choice by first touting his VP, Mike Pence.
He is solid as a rock. He's been a fantastic vice president. He's done everything you can do. He's respected by every religious group.
Then proceeding to paint Harris as
just about the most liberal person in the U.S. Senate. And I would have thought that Biden would have tried to stay away from that a little bit.
The president says he hasn't forgotten Harris' questioning of Justice Brett Kavanaugh during his confirmation, which he called horrible. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
However, in 2011 and 2013, now President Trump donated a total of $6,000 to Harris's campaign when she ran for re-election as Attorney General of California. Ivanka Trump donated $2,000. Former President Obama issuing a statement reading in part, Joe Biden nailed this decision and calling it a reflection of Biden's own judgment and character. The president also announcing the U.S. has reached an agreement with Moderna to obtain 100 million doses of its potential vaccine for COVID-19. And on testing, he says,
the United States has now conducted more than 66 million tests, far more than any other nation in the world. India, which has a population of 1.5 billion people, has done 24 million.
The president saying the U.S. has also secured a partnership with Johnson & Johnson to support a large-scale management of their vaccines. The Pac-12 conference has joined the Big Ten in shelving the college football season and all other sports for the rest of the year due to COVID-19. All fall sports in the Big Ten have been called off and a spring season will be explored. America is listening to Fox News.
For over 20 years, millions of customers have trusted Blinds.com to update their homes. Because Blinds.com makes it easy to get custom blinds that'll give your windows a high-end look without the high-end price. Whether you like to do it yourself, need help with design, or prefer measure and install services, they keep it simple with easy online ordering and free shipping right to your door. New window treatments are a simple way to really benefit the look and feel of your home. And Blinds.com will guide you every step of the way with free online design help. And if you're nervous about trying them, don't be. Blinds.com has over 30,000 5-star customer reviews, and they guarantee the perfect fit for your windows, whether you do it yourself or have them measure and install everything for you. Go to Blinds.com now to take advantage of this week's special savings on interior blinds, shades, shutters, and even outdoor shades. Rules and restrictions may apply.
The Republican National Committee asking the U.S. Supreme Court to intervene in a mail-in ballot case.
At issue, should Rhode Island election officials be allowed to eliminate witness signatures and notary requirements for voting by mail? In an emergency request, the RNC is seeking a decision from the Supreme Court before mail-in ballots go out tomorrow. If the court is unable to rule on substance, Republicans are requesting a temporary stay. The move comes after a federal appeals court ruled Rhode Island can relax the requirements due to the coronavirus pandemic. Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
Russia has become the first country to approve a coronavirus vaccine, but the move was met with international skepticism and unease because the shots have not been widely tested. Russian President Vladimir Putin says one of his adult daughters was inoculated and that the vaccine provides immunity to the virus. However, authorities have offered no proof to back up the claim of its safety or effectiveness. Scientists in Russia and other countries say a rush to start using the vaccine could backfire. France's prime minister sounding an alarm as coronavirus infections spread again.
France's prime minister saying people are becoming careless about the coronavirus. Jean Castex calling for a new collective effort to contain the spread as case numbers rise following the lifting of a nationwide lockdown. The prime minister saying the rebound risks becoming hard to control. 20 major cities are expected to face new restrictions, and a ban on large events is being extended through October. In London, Simon Owen, Fox News.
The Dutch government plans to order mandatory quarantine for people who are known to have been exposed to COVID-19. That's according to the country's national broadcaster. The decision comes after a 55% jump in the number of cases in the country in the past week. On Wall Street, the Dow lost 104, the Nasdaq off 185. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
The couple told reporters this week that they routinely urge their son Patrick to devote all of his time and resources to his improv comedy education.
We keep telling Patrick again and again that if you don't buckle down and start learning basic concepts like yes and the Herald now, nobody is going to take you seriously later in life.
He has to start thinking about this now.
The parents explained that he should try to get as much out of his improv training as possible by attending improv jams, forming a few indie teams, and doing as much bar prov as possible to keep himself warm for those upcoming Herald auditions.
The fact is, if Patrick were on stage with his fellow improvisers, and one of them were to play, say, a supervillain who's afraid of mice, Patrick wouldn't even be able to identify the game in that scene, let alone respond in a supportive way.
I gotta say, I had this internship at a law firm, but I quit to do a character workshop and a musical elective. I think this is really gonna pay off for me in the long run.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Aria.
It's Ian.
And Conan.
And Conan, you are convinced that this entire pandemic was planned from the start, correct? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Definitely, there are entities out there who did not plan this, who are using it to their advantage. For example, Keene local government. They didn't plan any of this, but they are definitely using it to their advantage. Democrats, I don't think they planned it, but they're using it to their advantage. I do believe that this was created in Wuhan, and I believe in part it was funded through individuals like Fauci and the people that he represents. And I think that Gates has some part in this as well.
So do you think they genetically engineered this virus?
I think it's a chimera flu virus that was very powerful when it was first let out. However it was let out, whether intentionally or on accident, it wasn't from a bat. But yes, the original strain was very powerful, and this is why New York got hit as hard as it did, not just because of the nursing homes. And now we are dealing with the remnants, not just because of herd immunity, where we've more and more people have this, but it's actually, I believe, a weaker strain. But yes, I do.
Is there absolutely any evidence whatsoever to back up anything you just said?
There have been virologists who have studied the corona SARS-CoV-2.
The virologists I've seen who studied it say, yes, this does not have the hallmarks of a man-made virus.
It has all kinds of interesting components, HIV components, malaria components. It does look like something that, according to some of the virologists that I have heard and watched.
Are these people on YouTube and white lab coats doing
they are
videos
all on
with
YouTube
behind them?
They are all on YouTube if you look hard enough, including the both sides of the argument.
Sure.
Sadly,
at least until YouTube takes down the other side.
Yeah, exactly. Sadly, if you don't preach the current agenda, you get taken down pretty quick, and that's why a lot of people don't even know about this concept, because things like this do get taken down. They don't get talked about. But if there has been an agenda that I believe someone is taking advantage of this and actually using this to their advantage, it would be individuals like Gates, because I don't think he's alone. I think he's just a figurehead for a group of people who basically megalomaniacs who want to who feel in their hearts that there's a better way, and their solution is to control the population. And there are too many people. So one of those ideas is to actually reduce that population. But
well, the virus they engineered to do that is terrible at reducing the population. It's got like a 0.01% death rate at best.
Exactly. So here, and that's a good question too.
So they suck at pandemics.
No, well, look how many people are on board.
But the pandemic itself has been a spectacular failure. They certainly have the support of the masses, but the masses support it because they're terrified because of what they see on the television. If they turned off their television, nobody would buy this crap.
No, they wouldn't. There'd be a lot less depressed, crazy people out there. But I mean, here's the thing. Because the virus wasn't actually to reduce population. The virus was to set us up. And some people are going to say for the vaccine, and I'm going to say it's not about the vaccine, because none of these vaccines I don't think are going to work.
It doesn't matter whether they work.
Well, it's not about the vaccine.
They want to pump you full of whatever's in that thing.
What it is about, how do you get the whole planet? This is what Gates has come out and said. He's talking about vaccinating the entire planet. How do you get the entire planet to willingly sign up for this?
You don't. Well, you have to threaten them.
Well, even then you won't get 100% compliance.
Where I'm going with this, you don't have to threaten them. If you can't grocery shop, if you can't get a loan, if you can't keep a job,
those are the threats.
If you can't go out, you don't need FEMA camps.
Those are the threats. Yeah, I'm not talking about FEMA camps. It's going to be these incentives.
And they've already browbeaten the businesses to where the businesses are used to it.
Correct.
Well, you can't have your employees here not wearing a mask is very easily going to become you can't have employees here who haven't been vaccinated.
And
at which point I will no longer be working within their system.
And the whole mask, I've already left one job because of the mask requirements. But the whole mask
requirement isn't a bodily invasion, though. It's just an inconvenience.
It's close.
But
it is.
The thing about the mask
requiring a vaccine is a bodily invasion, and I'm not playing that game.
Correct. But the mask is just the mask ordinances across this country. It's just a test run. A precursory test run to get
how many people will obey the mask because a lot of them are going to take the vaccine as well.
Well, like I said, though, it's not actually about the vaccine. What it is about, and this is going to take place very soon, the testing, the guinea pigs are going to be Africans, like they usually are when it comes to Gates Foundation type of vaccines and whatnot. But Africa to become testing ground for the trust stamp, a vaccine record and payment system.
So,
a biometric digital identity platform that evolves just as you evolve is set to be introduced in low-income remote communities in West Africa, thanks to a public-private partnership between the Bill Gates.
It's pretty much the mark of the beast that the Christians have been. That's why it'll never happen. That's why it will never happen here in the Western society.
Well, they said the same thing about Social Security. They said that was the mark of the beast. And look at where we're at now. Everyone has one. And
I'm not aware of anyone ever making the claim that.
I'm talking about when it was first introduced. What, in the 20s?
Sure.
There was plenty of people, and there were plenty of people who never got it, and they died without a Social Security number.
Sure. I mean, there are people who don't have Social Security numbers now.
And I've also met young people who their parents never got them one, who decided they were having a hard enough time in life doing other things, and they just went ahead and signed up for one. They got one because it is hard to do things.
Well, at least they made the choice on their own.
But at least right now you could still walk into a grocery store and purchase produce without a Social Security number.
That's true.
But what this is getting into, this biometric digital identity that Gates wants to unleash on some low-income remote communities in Africa, is going to be a test run for what could happen here. And you say that it will never happen. You say that you'll never do it, and I believe you, and I believe that Ian wouldn't, and I wouldn't as well. But looking at all those masks out there, looking at that sea of masks, that sea of mass zombies, I'm going to say absolutely not. This is coming. This is going to be just like China's credit system, their Sesame credit system. It's coming.
We're already basically being treated like second-class citizens. Oh yeah, you guys, we got it this weekend at the Social Sunday, which is the weekly libertarian hangout here, one of them, here in Keene, where we previously had been at this burger place for the last, 4 years or something like that. And now, nicely enough, the manager had a talk with us yesterday when we showed up, saying that, he obviously wants us to continue eating there, but next time...
This was here at Local Burger?
Local Burger, yeah. Next time we're going to have to put masks on if we want to be inside. He says if we don't, then we can call in orders from outside. So you people, you can go outside and not come in, because he was worried that somebody's going to see us in there, and that those people are going to report, and that then they're going to get a fine, and he doesn't want to get a fine.
A lot of the anti-conspiracy theorists out there who are always going on about how these tinfoil hat guys and whatever. Look at Bill. They say Bill's talking about stamping everyone with some kind of digital ink or some crap. What was the lady called in last week? The Luciferian ink or some stuff. But this is actually she called it. I think it's called Lucifer ink or Lucifer. It's called Lucifer race.
Lucifer
news to me.
race.
Yeah, Google that while I read on some more. So anyways, this new digital identity is being brought to low-income communities in Africa.
I'm not coming up with anything for Lucifer race.
Thanks to...
I found a horse named Lucifer who races.
Thanks to public-private partnership between the Bill Gates-backed Gavi Vaccine Alliance, also MasterCard, and the AI-powered identity authentication company Trust Stamp. I'm going to Google that Lucifer race.
So what, you get a stamp if you got the vaccine, basically? Is that it?
You get the stamp if you get the vaccine, and then not only that, but it is your credit, it is your banking.
So it's like an RFID.
It's probably your ability to vote.
Because it wouldn't be like a skin tattoo. It'd be like an implant, right?
This doesn't actually go into the detail exactly about what it's actually going to be, but it will be an identity.
This is Free Talk Live.
Moose is the German Shepherd and hasn't had any kind of health problems at all. He has been on Dinovite since he's a puppy. DINOVITE.com. We tell anybody that has a dog, if there was something that you could do right from the beginning so that you don't have expensive veterinary bills, why would you not do it? Get the Dinovite.
Dinovite for life.
You get some Dinovite, how happy your dog will be.
DINOVITE.com.
Divvy's been a pretty good investment for Free Talk Live. Their ad campaign started in September 2019, and from mid-March to mid-July, the values soared by 10 times. It's not too late. Divvy's new wallet hasn't even released yet, and other things are happening that I can't even say on the radio. If you want to invest and potentially do well, go to DivvyProject.org. I can tell you that FTL is deepening its partnership with the guys from DivvyProject.org. Past performance is not an indication of future profit. DivvyProject.org. DIVI Project.org.
Got shaving irritation? Shave Secret Shaving Oil can help stop it. Shave Secret doesn't cost much and is an all-American product. My name is Chuck Howard, and I developed Shave Secret and pioneered its use starting back in 1991. Ingrown hairs drove me nuts for years. Shaving oil changed all that. Why put up with ingrown hairs, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts? Shave Secret provides men and women with what we believe is the best shave ever. Our proprietary blend of 100% natural base and essential oils plus a hint of menthol was designed to help eliminate shaving irritations like ingrown hairs, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts. We'll lose those shaving irritations. Available at Super Walmart, H-E-B, Wegmans, Giant Eagle, Discount Drug, Navy and Marine Exchanges, Amazon, and ShaveSecret.com. Use the code FTL for Free Talk Live and get a discount. Shave Secret, the best shave ever.
Terror and confusion fell upon the nation this week after nearly 314 million Americans reported inexplicably losing consciousness for 8 hours straight last night, with countless victims helplessly recovering from the fugue-like state with no memory whatsoever of the lost time. Researchers at Princeton University, who have been studying the alarming phenomenon since its inception, told reporters that though they were unable to ascertain the source of the sweeping condition, it appeared to be somehow linked to the setting of the sun.
Right now, we suspect that there may be some connection between these sudden blackouts and the visions that some Americans have reported experiencing while they were unconscious. But most of these hallucinations are too abstract for us to draw any definite conclusions from.
At this time, we urge people to never turn off their lights and under no circumstances close their eyes for any extended period of... Oh, God. It's happening again.
This is the Onion News Network.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Live video of our Keene, New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in to talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Ian.
And Conan.
And Intercoin's team has spent the last decade helping communities release apps to unite their communities and coordinate social activity. Now communities can release currencies to coordinate economic activity. They represent a soft but voluntary power, encouraging people to spend the currency on local goods and services that accept it, or to support the community with small fees when cashing out unused coins. Towns already do this to battle globalism, and festivals can create an extended online community that transacts on their own year-round. Intercoin is attempting to regain some of the freedoms that have been threatened on the internet and in the real world, and we think that's important here on Free Talk Live. So we accepted $40,000 worth of Intercoin tokens from Intercoin Inc. for advertising. If you also think freedom is important, then check out Intercoin at intercoin.org. You can invest in the project and potentially make big gains, or just be involved and perhaps shape its future. Again, that's intercoin.org, INTER coin.org. Now, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Kirby in Indiana. Kirby, you're on Free Talk Live.
Aria, Ian, Conan, good evening.
Hey, Kirby.
What's on your mind tonight,
Conan?
Kirby?
Well, Conan, you're absolutely correct. We're being walked down this garden path slowly, a step at a time, so that when they roll out their vaccine, most of us will just roll over, pull down our pants, and take the shot. And, I mean, I see people riding down the street in Indianapolis with their wearing a mask.
We seem to have lost you for a minute, Kirby.
You said you're riding down the street what?
I see people driving down the street with their windows up, air on, and they're wearing a mask still.
Well, people are stupid. I mean, there are people running around in N95 masks thinking that these are compliant with what the mask requirements actually suggest, and they're not.
Kirby,
they're exactly opposite.
On the way here, I saw, and I thought this was only a Facebook meme, and it was fake. I saw a dude on a motorcycle wearing a mask, no goggles, no helmet.
No way.
I am not. I thought this was only a made-up.
You should have taken a picture.
It was too fast.
Well, I mean, that's what it comes down to. There's no real contradiction there. People will perceive that there's a contradiction there, but there is not. The masks are not designed to protect the wearer. They're not there to protect the guy on the motorcycle. They're there to protect everyone else from him.
Correct.
Yes.
So, but he's out in the open all by his lonesome,
Now, that's the stupid part. But the fact that he wasn't wearing a helmet, not wearing goggles, that's not really in contradiction to the fact that he's wearing a mask.
Yeah, but protecting yourself or protecting other people from you, you're talking about 0.04% of the population. The good of the many always outweighs the good of the few, especially when it's that few. And if you don't like these mask ordinances, wait until Biden and Harris get elected. It'll be mandatory. You won't be able to get a job without it. They are going
it's going anyway. It's already pretty much at that point.
I don't see Trump fighting any of this.
I don't see him fighting it, but at least he's not actively calling for it. I just got through dealing with.
He's keeping quiet. He's keeping quiet until the election.
Yeah,
and then he'll be calling for it.
He's draining the swamp.
That may be so. I'm voting for Joe Jorgensen.
All right.
I just got to going back and forth with two of my 30-year-old children who think I'm absolutely nuts for doing so.
I'm voting for Spike Cohen, but I have to vote for Joe Jorgensen in order to do that. So
she's still a better choice than Garrett Johnson.
I don't mind Joe Jorgensen, but it's for
she's
Spike.
The best candidate they've
had
had for the last 2 decades.
For sure.
Man, I would vote for Mickey Mouse over either one of these 4 idiots.
Yeah.
They're going to drive us into the
Kamala
ground.
And Biden?
Yeah.
Yeah, because, you're dealing with a pedo and someone who called him out as a pedo, and then she accepts his offer to be his running mate. What kind of hypocrite is that?
She just wants to be president. She knows that old man isn't going to make it.
Wants. It's all about power. We need to go back and
him to keel over every time he starts talking.
If he doesn't keel over, at some point he'll be, he'll be like certified nutso or losing it, dementia, and he'll have to step down.
But I'm convinced that the United States is pretty much doomed anyway. So I cannot wait until the Trump-Biden debates.
I know.
They are going to be glorious.
I don't like debates.
It won't happen. They'll never happen.
You think they're going to cancel?
It'll happen.
Yeah. I think Biden's going to die.
Before the debates?
The entire point of this American circus is for entertainment. There will be nothing more entertaining than Trump versus Biden.
I think he'll make it that long. He's going to make it to the debates.
Well, Kirby, thank you so much for the call.
One more quick thing. If you haven't seen what's going on in Belarus, check it out, because that's where we're coming to, regardless of who gets elected.
Yeah, I know what's going on there is there's protests out in the streets over the Lukashenko getting reelected, right?
Okay. Oh,
I presume
I didn't know that was a question for him.
Sorry, yeah.
Go ahead, Kirby.
I was just saying they're over there pitching a natural fit, and regardless of who gets elected, we're going to have some of that here.
Oh, sure.
Regardless.
And now there's some echo.
That's true. Thanks,
Kirby, thank you so much for the call. I mean, we had that in 2016 as well, with people freaking out. And, there were even some protests. People wanted electors to be faithless and to cast their votes anyway for Hillary Clinton. That happens every election. And people always expect, this election's the most important one. It's going to lead to revolution regardless of who wins. People are going to be upset, and there's going to be war in the streets. It's going to be a bloodbath, a civil war. It's coming. And it never happens.
Well, things change. Maybe this will be the end. And I hope that it is. I hope that whether it's Trump, and it seems like it's likely going to be Trump unless all of a sudden Joe Jorgensen gets an avalanche of media coverage. But
they seem to be doing okay. I mean, the bat biting her got her a fair bit of media coverage. I mean, it's sad that that's what it takes for a libertarian to get media coverage, is to get bitten by a freaking bat. But she did at least make headlines.
Yeah.
Suddenly people knew, oh, hey, there is someone I can vote for who isn't senile, who isn't a cop.
But it would be nice to see it all fall apart and that Donald Trump is the last president the United States ever has, because it all ends. It all dissolves away and changes into something new, which for a lot of people is going to be worse. Like the New York State, for instance. If they become their own state, then they will be able to have total dominion over those people. If they become their own nation or whatever, they won't have any.
Same with California, and I'm all about it. Let those people
bring it. And I don't feel sorry for the poor bastards stuck in New York. It's like you're choosing to stay there. If you're a libertarian and you are still in New York. Now they're putting up checkpoints in New York City.
Yep.
Mandating that people check in.
Papers, please.
Yeah. Is that what you really want? You think it's going to get better?
And now Connecticut, people are being fined thousands of dollars for not paying the appropriate travel, not filling out the appropriate paperwork.
And you have to have a doctor's note to walk around with a medical exemption. You got to have your hall pass from the doctor.
And this crap is coming everywhere, even here to New Hampshire to a degree. 855-450-3733.
News from news.bitcoin.com. Goldman Sachs warns that the U.S. dollar is on the path to lose world reserve currency status. Experts say that Bitcoin will continue to rise to as much as $20,000 this year. Coinbase reports more institutional investors are buying cryptocurrency. Cashgames.bitcoin.com announces a $3,000 leaderboard tournament. Bitcoin.com is your source for getting started with cryptocurrencies, getting a wallet, buying Bitcoin Cash, mining, and all the latest cryptocurrency news at news.bitcoin.com.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you receive the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at AnyPayInc.com. AnyPayInc.com.
Don't worry about things you can't control. Isn't that what they always say? But it's about impossible to avoid worrying about what's going on these days. The government has used the war on guns, the war on drugs, and the war on terrorism to tear our Bill of Rights to shreds. But you can fight back. The 10th Amendment Center has proven it, racking up major victories. For example, when the U.S. government claimed authority in the NDAA to have the military kidnap and detain Americans without trial, the nullifiers got a law passed in California, declaring the state's refusal to ever participate in any such thing. Their latest project is offnow.org, nullifying the National Security Agency. They've already gotten model legislation introduced in California, Arizona, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas, meant to limit the power of the NSA to spy on Americans in those states. We'd be fools to wait around for the U.S. Congress or courts to roll back Big Brother. Our best chance is nullification and interposition on the state level. Go to offnow.org, print out that model legislation, and get to work nullifying the NSA. The hero Edward Snowden has risked everything to give us this chance. Let's take it. Offnow.org.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here,
I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Aria, Ian, and Conan. And I want to say thank you to John Ralstead, who is tonight's amplifier. This means he's a member of the AMP program. You can find that at amp.freetalklive.com. People who join the program do so because it's the best way to get Free Talk Live out there if you like the show. It's what allows us to get on more radio stations, to have a better internet presence, all of that stuff. You can find it at amp.freetalklive.com. It only costs $5 per month to join the AMP program. And you get a number of cool little features like an AMP-only Facebook group, an AMP-only channel on the increasingly toxic Discord server, which you can find at discord.freetalklive.com. And, you know, it's in a chat room, an AMP-only call-in line. It's got a number of features that actually make it worth it. But, of course, the reason you should do it is because you want Free Talk Live to get on more radio stations, to reach a larger audience. So, John Ralstead, thank you so much for your contributions. We hope you continue enjoying and amplifying the show. Let's go to... No, let's not go to the phones here. It's James from Arizona. So, Conan, getting back into the story here about the almost verbatim what sounds like a Christian description of the mark of the beast.
It's beginning to look like that. A lot of people said that about the Social Security number, and that turned out kind of all right. We're still alive. We're still,
I wasn't around back
digging.
then, but I was around, in the 90s when Christians were all about this computer binary code is 666 nonsense.
What was this?
This is what the Christians thought.
Binary is zeros and ones.
I know that. I know, dude. I know. But they don't.
I must have missed those. Well, here's the thing.
So, I mean, I'm well versed in what they understand the mark of the beast to mean.
I'm not saying...
And this is verbatim that.
Right. I am not saying this is the biblical mark of the beast, but by its very definition, if anything prevents you from being able to go out in this society and actually be a human being, to voluntarily interact with other human beings, if anything prevents you from doing that, then by very definition, it is a mark of the beast. And if this digital ID prevents you from being able to vote, from being able to buy groceries, to get a job, to do any of this, then yeah, it is. Now, is it the mark of the beast?
It's not the mark of the beast. It's the mark of safety.
It's the mark of Bill Gates.
Don't you want to be safe? Do you care about your grandparents? Just do everything we say.
And by the way, just like Fauci, Bill Gates offers a lot of suggestions on what it would look like, what it should be. And as far as like a digital ID, I don't know that he's ever actually come out and says this is what we are going to do. I think he said, how do we track people with vaccines? Wouldn't it be nice if we had some type of, an ID, a stamp, or a tattoo that, you could identify these people so that they can, be, good citizens. So I don't know if he's actually said that. And the whole, this idea that he's going to use the luciferase ink to actually, which is a bioluminescent.
It's the enzyme that causes bioluminescence in organisms.
And as you correctly stated,
like a squid or something.
It was correct. Fireflies and stuff.
It's named after the fact that Lucifer is the light bringer.
Correct.
So an enzyme that brings light should be called the light bringer or Lucifer. I'm 100% on board with the name.
It works. It's factual. But I mean, using it, if in fact they're going to use this ink in their stamping, it's kind of creepy.
Why?
Lucifer, duh. It's just if you're the 666. If you're
I'm wearing the sigil of Lucifer around my neck.
Yeah, but you don't. Yeah, are you going to Lolita Island and are you practicing and sacrificing of the children for
Neither
your?
are Satanists.
Your adrenochrome. That's exactly. You've got different Satanists. You got different types.
They're not Satanists.
I don't know what they are. They're creepy.
No part of Satanism endorses or even allows the raping of another human being or the torture of another human being. It's all about individualism and individual rights.
Agreed. So what is all of this? What is all the 666 that the Gates Microsoft?
There's a very big difference between Satan/Lucifer and the devil. I will give you that. The Christian devil is a monster named Yahweh.
Now we're getting way off the subject, and we need to have this conversation another time because we could go places with this. But let's get back to what this trust stamp actually is, and you can visit their website, by the way, truststamp.ai. That's nice. But let's talk about the history and how it has evolved. The program, Trust Stamp, which was first launched in late 2018, will see Trust Stamp's digital identity platform integrated into the Gavi/MasterCard Wellness Pass, a digital vaccination record and identity system that is also linked to MasterCard's click-to-play
Who knew that MasterCard cared about your health?
To MasterCard's click-to-play system that powered by its AI and machine learning technology called New Data.
Here I was thinking they were just a massive credit card processor that just wants to make 3% on every transaction. No, they really care about your health. Trust them.
And by the way, that World Economic Forum they had, all the elites where they were talking about the Great Reset.
Mm-hmm. This is it.
Their MasterCard, one of their MasterCard representatives, I think he was the CEO, was there to represent their idea of how the Great Reset should work.
And they hate Bitcoin, by the way, over
Of course
MasterCard.
they do, because Bitcoin is the tool that we will use to resist that kind of nonsense.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Bitcoin is how we fight this mark of the beast crap.
Unless, it's cashless.
Well,
and
you mean crypto. You mean cryptocurrency,
yeah,
I
don't mean Bitcoin specifically.
Because the thing is that from what I understand, MasterCard was on the board of the DCG, if I recall correctly, the Digital Currency Group. And they are some of the people who've been funding the block stream people who are like the main pushing programmer types behind Bitcoin BTC. So MasterCard has its hands into Bitcoin BTC by like two proxies.
Not Lucifer, they're the devil.
Yeah.
MasterCard, in addition to professing its commitment to promoting centralized record keeping of childhood immunizations, also describe itself
MasterCard wants to do this?
Yep. Also described itself as a leader towards a world beyond cash. And its partnership with Gavi marks a novel approach towards linking a biometric digital identity system, vaccination records, and a payment system into a single cohesive platform.
You know what we could add in there as well? A social credit system. So people,
easy.
Yeah, so people who make the government
like
angry,
China.
they just can't ride the subway anymore.
Yeah, if you don't get a mask, if you don't get the vaccine, you don't get social credit, you don't get the ability to buy. You got to get all these things, be very obedient, and then you can get the trust stamp. Then you're a good citizen.
It would be so easy to tack that onto this system already.
Yeah, it sure would.
But they want to get it in the door first and want to get it approved, and then they can add that later on.
This is crazy, man.
The effort since its launch nearly 2 years ago has been funded via $3.8 million in Gavi donor funds, in addition to a matched donation of the same amount by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. In early June, Gavi reported that MasterCard's Wellness Pass, that's what it was 2 years ago, program would be adapted in response to the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. Around a month later, MasterCard announced that Trust Stamp's biometric identity platform would be integrated into Wellness Pass, as Trust Stamp's system is capable of providing biometric identity in areas of the world lacking internet access or cellular connectivity, and also does not require knowledge of an individual's legal name or identity to function. The wellness program involving Gavi, MasterCard, and Trust Stamp will soon be launched in West Africa and will be coupled with a COVID-19 vaccination program once a vaccine becomes available.
Yep, these guys are already offering KYC AML, Know Your Customer, anti-money laundering compliance
Of course they are.
Yeah.
It's scary stuff. The push to implement biometrics.
This is the trust stamp people that are offering all of that?
Yes.
Yeah. The push to implement biometrics as part of national ID registration systems has been ongoing for many years on the continent and has become a highly politicized issue in several African countries. So they are going to use this as a voting record as well, a voting ID.
And there's no reason that blockchain can't be used to meet those ends. And it sounds like
this will be
trust
centralized,
stamp is some sort of blockchain-based technology. But yeah, it's going to be centralized.
Yes.
And it's a mess. 855-450-FREE.
Have you ever thought about turning your Glock, XD Family, or 1911 handgun into a semi-automatic carbine? It only takes about 30 seconds. The MacTech Carbine Upper is classified as an accessory and can be delivered right to your doorstep with no FFL or background check required. It's the world's most versatile pistol accessory. Build your custom upper today. Simply go to handgunconversion.com. That's handgunconversion.com.
Are you a business owner that needs a large supply of face masks?
Do you have a large family and need a large supply of face masks?
And want high quality but not high prices? Then you want sunny-bay.com.
Our face masks are a better quality than Costco and lower price than Amazon.
There's none better than sunny-bay.com.
See for yourself. Go to sunny-bay.com and place your order today.
Again, business owners, large families, and anyone who needs a large supply of quality disposable face masks. Click sunny-bay.com.
Be sure and look for our volume discounts.
Our high-quality cloth face masks are handmade in the USA.
We also have N95 masks.
See our quality, get details, and order at sunny-bay.com, a Biomed DB design company.
Remember, volume discounts for large quantities at sunny-bay.com.
Just click sunny-bay.com.
Are you afraid to go to the mailbox because of letter after letter from the IRS? Are they stacking on more and more penalties and interest? By now, you know the problem won't go away on its own. Don't let the IRS chase you to your grave with penalties and interest and liens and levies. You need real help now. I'm Dan Pilla. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I help thousands of people solve tax problems they thought couldn't be solved. I can help you too. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com. danpilla.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now, with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you receive the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at anypayinc.com. anypayinc.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. If you're quick, you can still get on the air with us. That number's 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Aria, Ian, and Conan. And Conan, we're talking about your story here of coming from this website I've never heard of prior to this, about this thing called Trust Stamp, which is a blockchain-based technology centralized in the hands of a company that
Did
is
it say it was blockchain-based?
Their website mentions blockchain.
Yeah, everyone's new technologies, blockchain.
I don't see it on their website. Where are you seeing that?
I don't remember. I just closed a bunch of tabs that I had open.
I'm at truststamp.ai. I don't see anything about blockchain. And in the thing that Conan was reading, they were bragging about centralized databases.
Mm-hmm. Well,
but again,
blockchain doesn't necessarily have to be decentralized.
That's true. Yeah, it could all just be on their servers in 3 different places.
Like Libra.
Yeah.
But I guess before we get further back into it, let's go to the phones. We've got Scott calling from Montana. Scott, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, great to talk to you guys. I just thought I would share with you a survivor story, meaning I was diagnosed with COVID-19 positive and counted in my state statistics. Long story short, I spent my winters in Mexico, cruise ship port, came home sick, went to the doctor. They said, we're going to test you. This was in late March. They said, you're positive. So they said, obviously, mandatory quarantine, even though I don't know that they could make it mandatory. And they said, your wife also. My wife cared for me for the 6 or 7 days that I was ill, and it was a bad case of flu. I mean, I had joint pain and tightness in the chest, whatever. My wife, who swears she had it in January, but not tested, don't know, they tested her daily, and she never tested positive.
Even though she was at home taking care of you.
Even though she was in close, intimate contact, not that intimate, but, no mask, no gloves, etc. And I tested positive repeatedly. They tested both of us daily. And I was positive. 8 days later, I'm negative. And she never tested positive.
Well, doesn't that suggest that she may have been correct, that she did get it in January?
Yeah. And then I had an antibody test done, and they said, oh, my God, can you donate plasma? You're highly positive for antibodies. So my point is...
Are they donating, so they're not going to pay for that priceless antibodies? I'm telling you.
Yeah. Well, my point is, I think this whole thing has been politicized beyond belief. If we knew the real numbers, I think, and I'm not a denier of science, I'm an engineer, but I think it's just blown out of proportion because of political reasons.
Absolutely.
And I think realistically, a lot of us have had it and don't even know. But that is a personal story. It's verifiable. I mean, I was quarantined 3 weeks at home with my wife.
Wow.
Positive. She was negative.
Well, I can't say that I had COVID-19, and I can't say whether or not I believe that I do, but I do know that earlier this year, at the start of the year, I was sicker than I'd ever been at any point in my life, and it lasted for several weeks.
My experience
Dude,
was,
it lasted
I'm
like a month and a half.
This is something I have not had before. That was what set me off to go to a doctor.
Okay,
this is something I've never had.
Can I ask you one question? Did any of you or your wife get the flu shot this year?
I did last fall. I do every year.
And I was talking to my neighbor the other day. He says he got the COVID too, and the first thing I asked him, by the way, he said he thought he was still feeling it too, like a month later. And I asked him, did you get this year's flu shot? And he says, you know what? I did.
Did your wife get this year's flu shot?
Yeah, we do every year.
So are you suggesting that that's where this came from?
I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I believe in the science that's just positive to reinforce your immunity.
Sure, you believe in the science, but you don't know what they're putting in the flu shot. You have no idea.
Well, it's dead flu, anyways. If that's kind of what this is. The Rona. It's Corona.
Yeah.
But
anyway, that's the point I wanted to make. I think
glad you made it through it, like 99.6% of everybody else who gets it.
Yeah, Scott, thank you so much for the call. The reason I asked that question about his wife getting the flu shot is because you seem to be suggesting that the flu shot was ultimately the cause of it.
Well,
or at least a contributing factor.
If you followed last week's conversation, I am starting to lean more and more towards terrain theory over virus theory. I agree with both of them, but
Can you explain that again?
But creating a strong immune system is the most important thing you can do to fight off these viruses and any foreign material that could take over your body. We are walking germ bags. We have so many foreign elements in us. Then
they're not foreign.
They're not human cells. We have more non-human cells in our walking germ
tiny
bodies.
little bugs all over your eyes,
Little
eyelashes, or whatever,
microbes.
right? Yeah,
exactly. If our immune system, for whatever reason, drops below par, those little organisms can take over just like that, and that's what happens. And that's why you're seeing the elderly who get this. It's their bodies have given up. They have other conditions, and their bodies just can't hold on anymore. And that was the camel that broke the straw's back. Just like that, it's over. So the best thing you can do is everything they're telling us not to do. Get outside, get some sunshine, get some exercise, get some fresh air, work on your herd immunity by actually
friends.
shaking hands and hugging and getting spit on by the guy across the table from you. That's what makes us. That's how you develop your immune system.
Well, let's keep going. We've got David from New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, yesterday Kamala Harris died. Today Kamala Harris is running for vice president.
What do you say she died? Did I miss something?
He called about different Kamala Harris, the wrestler. Apparently there's a pro wrestler whose name is Kamala Harris.
And she died?
He died. Kamala Harris.
He died.
Yeah. Sorry, what?
Good-looking one.
Yeah.
The good-looking Kamala Harris. Yeah. But one more little puzzle piece in dissecting courtroom procedure. So in this hearing the other day, go on the record with the judge. This is not a video, but a telephonic appearance like they're doing with the COVID and all that. And judge comes on the record, and the first thing she starts going, and she never even. I was on the line for like a half hour before that. Never once did she even identify herself for the record, who she is, what judge she is, and I didn't recognize her. And so I asked the judge to identify herself for the record, and the thing out of her mouth comes, and this actually is recorded. So if anybody doubts me, judge says, "I'm not sure I have to answer to you,
Whoa.
but." And the second she said that, I said objection. Yeah, and then she told me to be quiet. But in looking at that, in looking at the first thing that she did when she said, "I'm not sure I have to answer to you," she was looking at it as a peeing contest, and all I was trying to do was do my courtroom business. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to know who this judge was, because she had never identified herself during the entire time that I was sitting in the courtroom waiting for my call. And then when she came on to my call and went on the record with it, she didn't identify herself. So on the record, she's not identified. I mean, sure, she's identified by which judge is appearing in this courtroom on this given day, but she was a pro tem judge. It wasn't her regular courtroom, and so I thought it was a reasonable question.
Yeah, it is.
But it's telling that she decided to get into a 7th grade argument with me instead of just doing business.
Well, you questioned the authority of the robed person. How dare you?
You just asked who she was. I don't think he questioned her authority.
But she's wearing a robe.
Right, and so
that's
she should
her
identify.
Authority.
She should identify. Whenever you're in front of a court as a robed person, there's usually a plaque in front of them, and you know what, at least ostensibly, who that judge is supposed to be. Here, you've got some mystery woman who's just playing judge, and she won't even say what her name is. That's crazy.
Felicia Blea Rivera, Albuquerque, New Mexico.
That was the judge, as you come to learn.
Apparently.
The what?
Apparently.
Yeah.
So coming up in New Hampshire this month, there's going to be the first trial, and that will be happening in next week. The first trial in 5 months, roughly, that they've had in the entire state is going to be happening here in Cheshire County.
Really?
So all of the people who have been waiting for trials, who were supposed to have had trials
hundreds of
4 to 5 months ago.
Yeah, hundreds of cases.
How are they ever going to catch up?
I don't know. They're going to get some plea deals, I guess.
Sounds about
Or they're
right.
going to rush them through the justice system.
Well, it hasn't been a rush so far.
No, I mean, they're
waiting.
like, okay, well, what do you plead? Not guilty? Okay, well, if you plead guilty...
That's what. Well, that's how it always is.
That's a plea deal. Yeah,
we were going to let you out of jail a week later anyways because of the COVID nonsense. We don't want you getting sick.
Yeah. Anyway, if you enjoy the show, head on over to freetalklive.com. There are archives back there going back more than 10 years. One more time, that's freetalklive.com.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had got involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even